When a blood kingdom becomes a death cage. The most beautiful mafia wife in Manhattan, a white shirt stained with lipstick, a husband who laughs when confronted about his betrayal, and a pregnancy no one knows about yet. Serafina Vale thought marrying Roman Corsetti would give her love. Instead, she got humiliation, a death sentence, and 7 years of hell running from assassins. But the woman who returns isn't the broken wife he destroyed. She's something far more dangerous. Follow this story to the end. Like and comment what city you're watching from so I can see how far my story travels. Much. Rain hammered the glass walls of the penthouse like bullets trying to break through. Serafina Vale stood in the center of the living room holding her husband's white dress shirt in both hands. The fabric felt expensive, cold, contaminated. A crimson lipstick stain bled across the collar. Not her shade. Never her shade. She'd found it crumpled behind the bathroom door when she went looking for Roman's cufflinks. The perfume hit her first, something floral and aggressive that made her stomach twist. Then she saw the stain. Bold, careless, the kind of mark a woman leaves when she wants to be discovered. Serafina's hands trembled as she held the shirt up to the chandelier light. Part of her wanted to be wrong, wanted there to be some explanation that didn't end with her world shattering into pieces. But she knew. Women always knew. The penthouse door opened. Roman Corsetti walked in carrying his suit jacket over one shoulder, tailored charcoal pants, black dress shirt unbuttoned at the collar, dark hair slicked back from a face that belonged on magazine covers and FBI most wanted lists. He looked at her, then at the shirt in her hands. No panic, no guilt, just cold calculation. "We need to talk," Serafina said. Her voice came out steadier than she expected. Roman crossed to the bar without answering, poured himself 3 fingers of scotch, drank half of it in one swallow. "About what?" he finally asked. She held up the shirt. "This." He glanced at the lipstick stain like it was a parking ticket. Mildly annoying, but ultimately meaningless. "You're really gonna do this?" Roman set his glass down hard enough that crystal rang against marble. "Right now? Do what? Ask my husband why another woman's lipstick is on his collar? Make a scene over nothing." The words hit like a slap. "Nothing?" Serafina moved closer, close enough to smell the scotch on his breath and that same floral perfume clinging to his skin. "You smell like her, Roman. You reek of her." He didn't deny it. That's what broke her. Not the affair itself, not even the evidence, but the fact that he didn't think it was worth lying about. "Say something," she whispered. Roman finished his drink, poured another. When he finally looked at her, his eyes held the same emptiness he reserved for enemies before ordering executions. "You want the truth? Fine." He leaned against the bar. "She understands me, gives me peace. You just give me problems." The world tilted. Serafina had prepared herself for denials, for gaslighting, for him to twist everything until she doubted her own sanity. But casual honesty, contempt so pure it didn't bother hiding behind lies, that she hadn't prepared for. "Problems?" Her voice cracked. "I've stood beside you through everything. Every deal, every war, every body they pulled out of the river with your name carved into their—" "And you think that makes you special?" Roman interrupted. "You think loyalty means I owe you something?" "I think marriage means you owe me respect." He laughed. Actually laughed. The sound shattered something inside her chest, something that had been cracking for months, but still held on because love was supposed to conquer everything. Love was supposed to be enough. It wasn't. "Respect?" Roman shook his head. "You want respect? Earn it. Stop being so needy. Stop questioning everything I do. Stop being your wife? Stop being exhausting." Serafina felt tears burning behind her eyes, but refused to let them fall. Not here, not in front of him. "Who is she? Does it matter?" "Yes." Roman studied her for a long moment, then shrugged. "Celeste Moreau. You met her at the charity gala last month." The name landed like a knife between her ribs. She remembered Celeste, tall, elegant, emerald dress that probably cost more than most people's cars. She touched Roman's arm when they were introduced, laughed at something he said, held eye contact just a second too long. Serafina had felt the danger then. had pushed the feeling down because paranoia was exhausting and she was tired of being the suspicious wife. "How long?" she asked. 4 months. 4 months. 4 months of lies. 4 months of him coming home late smelling like someone else. 4 months of her pretending not to notice because confronting the truth meant admitting her marriage was a corpse she'd been trying to resurrect. "I want you to end it," Serafina said quietly. "Tonight. Call her right now and end it." Roman's expression didn't change. "No." "No? You heard me. So what am I supposed to do? Just accept this? Play the good little wife while you'll do what every other mafia wife does?" Roman's voice went cold, flat, the tone he used when giving orders to men who didn't dare disobey. "You'll smile in public, keep your mouth shut, and be grateful you're married to the most powerful man on the East Coast." Grateful? The word tasted like poison. "You want me to be grateful? I've given you everything, this penthouse, security, a last name that opens every door in this city. You live like a queen because of me. I live like a prisoner. Then leave." The challenge hung in the air between them. Serafina wanted to walk out of this glass cage and never look back. But leaving Roman Corsetti wasn't like leaving a regular marriage. His world didn't allow exits, only executions. And there was something else, something she'd discovered 2 weeks ago. Something that changed everything but also changed nothing because the man standing in front of her wasn't the man she'd married anymore. Maybe he never had been. "I'm pregnant," Serafina said. For the first time all night, Roman showed emotion. His eyes widened, just slightly, just enough. "What?" 12 weeks. Her hand moved to her stomach, still flat, still hiding the secret that should have brought joy but instead felt like a chain tightening around her throat. "I found out 2 weeks ago. Was waiting for the right moment to tell you." Roman stared at her, the Scotch glass frozen halfway to his lips. "You're lying. I have the test results. Doctor confirmed it 3 days ago." Jesus Christ. He set the glass down, ran both hands through his hair. For a moment, just a brief, fragile moment, she saw something human flicker across his face. Then it was gone. "This changes nothing," Roman said. "How can you say that? This is your child." "So you say." The accusation hit like a physical blow. "You think I'm lying about this?" Serafina couldn't breathe. "You actually think—" "I think the timing is convenient, very convenient." "Convenient? I tell you about Celeste and suddenly you're pregnant? That's one hell of a coincidence." Rage flooded through her, pure, clarifying, the kind of anger that burns away everything except the truth. "I am carrying your child," she said through clenched teeth. "And the fact that you won't even—" Her voice broke. Roman watched her with those cold, empty eyes, the eyes of a man who'd killed his first person at 16 and never looked back. "If it's true," he said slowly, "we'll deal with it. But things between us? Those don't change. Celeste stays. You stay. We all stay." "Stay?" Serafina felt something snap inside her. "You want me to stay here and watch you parade your mistress around while I'm pregnant with your baby? I want you to understand your place." "My place? You're my wife. Not my owner. Not my equal. My wife. That means you get the benefits and keep your mouth shut about the costs." Serafina looked at him, really looked at him, and realized she was staring at a stranger. The man she'd fallen in love with 3 years ago had either never existed or had been slowly poisoned by power until nothing human remained. "I won't live like this," she whispered. "Then die like something else." The words weren't a threat. They were a forecast. A statement of fact delivered with the emotional weight of a weather report. Roman grabbed his jacket and headed for the door. "Where are you going?" Serafina called after him. He didn't turn around. "Out." To her? Does it matter? The door slammed. Serafina stood alone in the penthouse surrounded by luxury that suddenly felt like evidence at a crime scene. Every expensive piece of furniture, every designer dress in her closet, every diamond he'd bought her, all of it was just wrapping paper around a prison sentence. She walked to the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Manhattan. The city glittered below like a kingdom made of light and lies. Roman ruled it through fear and violence. Everyone knew it. Everyone pretended not to, and she had helped him, not actively, not intentionally, but by standing beside him, by smiling at fundraisers while dirty money got laundered, by playing the perfect wife while he built an empire on broken bodies and broken laws. She'd thought love made it okay, that if she loved him enough, she could change him, could soften the edges, could remind him that underneath the monster was the man who'd once brought her coffee in bed and kissed her forehead like she was something precious. But that man was gone. Or maybe he'd never existed at all. Serafina pressed her palm against the cold glass and made a decision. She wouldn't leave. Not yet. Because leaving required planning, money, resources. Roman controlled completely, and now she was carrying his child. That complicated everything. So she would stay. But she would also start preparing, finding lawyers, opening secret bank accounts, building an escape route for the day everything inevitably collapsed. Because it would collapse. Men like Roman always burned their kingdoms down eventually. She just needed to make sure she wasn't inside when the fire started. Motes. 3 days later, Serafina received an engraved invitation to his uncle's birthday dinner. She almost didn't go. The thought of sitting through hours of mafia politics while pretending everything was fine felt impossible. But absence would be noticed, questioned, and right now she couldn't afford to give Roman any excuse to tighten his control. So she put on a navy dress that hid her still flat stomach, applied lipstick the color of wine, and practiced her smile in the mirror until it looked almost real. The dinner was held at Vittorio Corsetti's estate in Westchester. Old money, old power, the kind of mansion that had seen more murders than most morgues. Serafina arrived alone. Roman's driver had picked her up without explanation of where Roman was or why he wasn't accompanying her. She knew why. The question was whether anyone else did. She walked into the dining room expecting the usual crowd, family members, underbosses, wives who smiled with their mouths but not their eyes. What she found was Celeste Moreau sitting in the chair beside Roman, the chair reserved for his wife. Emerald silk wrapped around Celeste like poison disguised as elegance. Diamonds glittered at her throat and wrists. The same bracelet Serafina had admired months ago. The one Roman said was too expensive, too flashy. Apparently it was just too expensive for the wrong woman. Every head in the room turned toward Serafina. No one spoke. Roman didn't even look up from his wine. Vittorio, 70 years old with eyes like a shark, gestured to an empty chair at the far end of the table. "Serafina, we saved you a seat." Not beside her husband. At the opposite end. Like a stranger. The humiliation was surgical, precise. Every person in this room understood what was happening. They were watching her demotion in real time. Serafina wanted to run, wanted to scream, wanted to grab the nearest bottle and smash it across Celeste's perfect face. Instead, she smiled. "Thank you, Uncle Vittorio." She walked to the far end of the table with her head high and her hands steady. Sat down between two captains she barely knew, unfolded her napkin, picked up her water glass, and died 1,000 small deaths as dinner progressed. Celeste touched Roman's arm, poured his wine, leaned close to whisper in his ear while everyone pretended not to notice. Every gesture was calculated, every laugh perfectly timed. She wasn't just Roman's mistress. She was auditioning for Serafina's life, and Roman was letting her. Conversation flowed around Serafina without including her. Business discussions, territory disputes, a shipment coming in from Bogota next week. She'd been edited out of the family narrative, erased while still breathing. Dinner stretched into an eternity. 7 courses, each one more elaborate than the last, each one tasting like ash in her mouth. Finally, dessert arrived. Tiramisu and espresso. Vittorio stood with his glass raised. To family, to loyalty, to the Corsetti name. Everyone drank, except Serafina, who was pregnant and therefore couldn't. Roman noticed. His eyes flickered toward her water glass. Something crossed his face, confusion maybe, or calculation. Then Celeste placed her hand over his, and his attention shifted back to her. The message was clear. Serafina no longer mattered. After dinner, guests moved to the study for cigars and brandy. Serafina excused herself to the bathroom, locked the door, and finally let the tears fall. Silent sobs that shook her entire body. She'd been publicly humiliated, replaced, cast aside in front of the entire organization, and no one had defended her. not one person. Because in Roman's world, power was the only currency that mattered, and she had just been declared bankrupt. A knock on the door made her freeze. "Occupied," she called out, voice surprisingly steady. "It's me." Celeste's voice came through the wood, soft, almost kind. "Can we talk?" "Absolutely not." "I'm fine. I'll be out in a minute." "I know this is awkward," Celeste continued, "but I think we should clear the air, woman to woman." Serafina stared at her reflection in the mirror. Red eyes, smudged mascara, the face of a woman who'd just lost everything. She opened the door. Celeste stood in the hallway looking impossibly composed. Not a hair out of place, not a wrinkle in her dress. "What do you want?" Serafina asked. "To apologize. For sleeping with my husband. For the way you found out." Celeste's expression was sympathetic, practiced. "I never meant for things to happen this way." "But they did happen." "Yes." Celeste tilted her head slightly. "They did. And now you're sitting in my chair, wearing jewelry he refused to buy me, acting like you belong in my life." "I'm not trying to replace you." "Could have fooled me." Celeste sighed. "Look, I understand you're hurt, but Roman and I, what we have is real. It's not some cheap affair. We connect on a level that—" "Don't." Serafina's voice went cold. "Don't stand here and explain your connection to my husband. I don't care. I don't want to hear it. And I definitely don't want your fake sympathy." "It's not fake." "Yes, it is. Because if you actually cared, you wouldn't be here at all." Something flickered in Celeste's eyes, something hard and sharp that didn't match her gentle expression. "You're right," Celeste said quietly. "I wouldn't." Then she walked away. Serafina stood in the hallway feeling like she'd just survived a car crash, only to realize the real danger was still ahead. She found Roman on the terrace smoking a cigarette, alone for the first time all night. "We need to talk," she said. "Not now." "Yes, now." Roman exhaled smoke into the night air. "What do you want me to say, Serafina? That I'm sorry?" "I'm not. That I'll end things with Celeste? I won't. I want you to show me 1 ounce of respect. I brought you to a family dinner. You humiliated me in front of everyone. I let you keep your last name." Roman turned to face her. "Most men in my position would have divorced you the second you became inconvenient. I'm keeping you as my wife. That's respect." "That's ownership." "Same thing." Serafina felt the baby flutter inside her, barely there, just the faintest suggestion of life. "I'm leaving you," she said. Roman's expression didn't change. "No, you're not." "Watch me, Serafina." He said her name like a warning. "You don't leave me. No one leaves me. You understand what that means?" She understood perfectly. In Roman's world, leaving wasn't an option. It was a death sentence. "Then I guess we're both stuck," she said. "I guess we are." Roman dropped his cigarette, ground it out beneath his shoe, and walked back inside without another word. Serafina stood on the terrace overlooking the dark estate grounds. Gardens, fountains, perfectly manicured hedges hiding security cameras and armed guards. A prison disguised as paradise. And she was an inmate with nowhere to run. The next morning started with locked bank accounts. Serafina tried to transfer money to a separate account she'd opened in secret. The transaction was declined. She called the bank. They told her the account had been frozen by order of the primary account holder, Roman. He'd cut her off completely. No access to money, no way to hire lawyers or book flights or do anything that required financial independence. She tried calling her lawyer. He didn't answer. When she went to his office, his secretary told her he was no longer available to take her case. Every door slammed shut. She called her old college roommate Sarah, who lived in Boston. They'd stayed close over the years. Sarah would help. "I can't," Sarah said immediately. "I'm sorry, Sarah. I can't get involved." "Involved in what? I just need a place to stay for a few—" "He called me." Serafina's blood went cold. "What?" "Roman. He called last night, said if I helped you I'd regret it." Sarah's voice cracked. "I have kids, Sarah. I can't— I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." The line went dead. Serafina sat in the penthouse staring at her phone. Every contact, every friend, every person she might turn to. Roman had gotten to them all. She was being systematically isolated. That afternoon, a black SUV followed her to the grocery store. Another one waited outside when she got her nails done. They didn't hide. They wanted her to know she was being watched. That night, her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "I see you." Then another. "Did you really think you could hide from me?" Serafina blocked the number. 2 minutes later, another text arrived from a different number. "Run all you want. I'll always find you." Her hands shook as she turned off her phone. This was psychological warfare. Roman wasn't just punishing her for threatening to leave, he was breaking her, systematically destroying every piece of independence until she had nothing left except him. The texts continued for 3 days. Some threatening, some almost affectionate, all of them designed to make her feel watched, hunted, trapped. On the 4th day, something changed. Serafina received an email from an encrypted address. No subject line, just a message. "Check your offshore accounts." She didn't have offshore accounts, or at least she didn't think she did, but when she searched her name in conjunction with several offshore banks, she found them. 5 accounts across 3 countries, all opened within the last month, all containing substantial deposits, money she'd never seen, never touched, never known about, and all of it traced back to her identity. Someone was framing her. The next email arrived an hour later. "Shipment arriving Thursday, 2 a.m., Pier 47, payment confirmed." Serafina's stomach dropped. She wasn't involved in Roman's business, never had been, never wanted to be. But someone was creating a digital trail that made it look like she was. She tried calling Roman. He didn't answer. Tried going to his office. Security turned her away. She was being locked out while simultaneously being framed for something she didn't understand. Thursday night, she did something stupid. She went to Pier 47, not to participate, not to interfere, just to see what was happening, to understand what she was being framed for. The pier was abandoned. Warehouses with shattered windows, rusted shipping containers, the kind of place where bad things happened and bodies disappeared. Serafina parked 3 blocks away and walked closer on foot. 2 black vans waited near the water, men unloading wooden crates. She couldn't see what was inside from this distance, but the operation had Roman's fingerprints all over it. Then she saw him. Roman stood near the largest van talking to someone she didn't recognize. Even from 50 yards away, she could feel the authority radiating off him. And standing beside him, impossibly elegant even in the darkness, was Celeste, whispering something in his ear. Roman's expression darkened. He pulled out his phone, made a call. 30 seconds later, Serafina's phone buzzed with an incoming text. "I know you're here." Her blood turned to ice. She started backing away slowly, carefully. Too late. Headlights blazed to life behind her. An engine roared. She turned and ran. The vehicle pursued. She cut through an alley between warehouses, heard shouting, footsteps pounding pavement. They were hunting her. She ran harder than she'd ever run in her life. Her heel caught on broken concrete. She went down hard. Pain exploded through her knee. "There!" Serafina scrambled to her feet and kept running, found a gap in a chain-link fence, squeezed through, kept moving. She made it back to her car, locked the doors, drove away with tears streaming down her face and blood dripping from her scraped knee. When she got home, Roman was waiting in the penthouse. "Interesting night?" he asked. "I can explain." "Can you?" He moved closer. "Can you explain why you were at one of my shipments? Why you've been communicating with my enemies? Why there are offshore accounts in your name containing money from people who want me dead?" "None of that is real," Serafina said desperately. "I'm being framed. Someone is setting me up." "Who?" "I don't know, but—" "Convenient. Roman, please, you know me. You know I would never— "I don't know you at all." His voice was colder than she'd ever heard it. "Turns out, I never did." "That's not true. My men died last week because someone leaked coordinates to the Rivera cartel. 3 good soldiers, gone, and every piece of evidence points to you." "I didn't—" "Your emails, your accounts, your phone records, it's all there." "Then it's all fake." Serafina grabbed his arm. "Someone is doing this to me, to us. Can't you see that?" Roman pulled away. "What I see is a woman who got pregnant right before I found out about her betrayal. Very strategic." "You don't believe that?" I don't know what to believe anymore. He walked to the door. Where are you going? Serafina asked. To make a decision. Roman looked back at her one last time. You should pack a bag. You're being summoned to a tribunal tomorrow morning. A tribunal? The family needs to decide what to do with you. Roman, but he was already gone. Serafina stood in the penthouse feeling the walls close in. A tribunal wasn't a hearing. It wasn't due process. It was a sentencing. And she was pregnant with the child of a man who now believed she'd betrayed him. The baby kicked again. Stronger this time. And for the first time in 3 years, Serafina Vale understood that love wasn't enough to survive in a kingdom built on blood. She was going to need something else, something darker, something she didn't have yet. But she would find it, or die trying. Dawn broke over Manhattan like a wound splitting open. Serafina hadn't slept, couldn't sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Roman's face when he accused her of betrayal, the coldness in his voice, the finality. She sat on the edge of the bed watching the city wake up through floor-to-ceiling windows. Her packed bag waited by the door, not because she planned to run, because Roman had told her to pack, and defiance at this point seemed suicidal. The baby had been kicking all night, restless, like it could sense the danger. Her phone buzzed at 6:30. A text from an unknown number. Car arrives in 30 minutes. Be ready. No signature. No explanation. She showered, put on a black dress that felt like funeral clothes, applied minimal makeup because vanity seemed obscene when facing execution. The car arrived exactly on time. A black sedan with tinted windows. The driver didn't speak, didn't even look at her, just opened the back door and waited. Serafina climbed inside. They drove for 40 minutes. Out of Manhattan, through neighborhoods that got progressively emptier until they reached an estate she'd never seen before. Old stone walls, iron gates, the kind of property that had absorbed decades of secrets and would never give them back. Guards at the entrance waved them through. The mansion itself looked like something from another century. Dark wood, heavy curtains, chandeliers that probably weighed more than cars. She was escorted inside by 2 men who wouldn't meet her eyes. Bad sign. The tribunal was being held in what looked like a library, floor-to-ceiling bookshelves, a massive oak table at the center, high-backed chairs arranged like a courtroom, and sitting in those chairs were the people who would decide whether she lived or died. Vittorio Corsetti at the head of the table, Roman's uncle, the real power behind the empire even though Roman wore the crown. Next to him, Marco Tessari, underboss, a man who'd killed his own brother over a territory dispute. Beside Marco, Lucia Santoro, the only woman with real authority in the organization, cold, calculating, utterly without mercy. 2 more captains she recognized but didn't know well. And at the far end, Roman. He didn't look at her when she entered. Celeste stood behind him, one hand resting on his shoulder like she belonged there, like she'd already won. Sit, Vittorio said. Not unkind, just factual. Serafina sat in the single chair facing the table. It felt like sitting in an electric chair. Everyone staring, everyone judging. You know why you're here, Vittorio continued. I know what I'm accused of, Serafina said carefully. Not why anyone believes it. The evidence is substantial. The evidence is fabricated. Marco leaned forward. 5 offshore accounts, all in your name, all containing payments from the Rivera cartel. I didn't open those accounts. Your identification was used, your signatures verified. Then someone forged them. Who? I don't know. Lucia's eyes were like chips of ice. Convenient. It's the truth. Truth is what we can prove, Lucia said. And what we can prove is that you've been communicating with our enemies, transferring money, leaking operational intelligence. Show me one piece of real evidence, Serafina challenged. One actual conversation I had, one meeting I attended, one single moment where I did anything remotely. We have recordings, Marco interrupted. Her stomach dropped. What? He nodded to someone behind her. A laptop appeared on the table. Marco hit play. Serafina's voice filled the room, clear, unmistakable, absolutely her. The shipment arrives Thursday at 2 a.m. Pier 47. Roman will have 8 men. Hit them hard and fast. The recording continued, her voice giving coordinates. discussing payment, confirming the deal. She felt the blood drain from her face. "That's not me," she whispered. "It's your voice." "It's not me talking." "Voice analysis confirms—" "I don't care what voice analysis confirms." Serafina stood up. The guards moved toward her immediately. "That is not me. I never said those words. I never made that call." "Sit down," Vittorio said quietly. It was the quiet that made her obey, the kind of quiet that preceded violence. She sat. "Deepfake," she said desperately. "AI voice cloning. Someone recorded me and used it to—" "These recordings are from your phone," Marco said. "Your device, your SIM card. Then someone hacked my phone. For what purpose? To frame me." "Why would anyone go through this much effort to frame you?" Lucia asked. "What do you gain us that's worth this level of conspiracy?" Serafina looked at Roman. He was staring at the table, jaw clenched, hands folded in front of him like he was physically holding himself back from something. "Roman," she said, "you know me. You know I would never—" "I don't know anything anymore," he said without looking up. "Yes, you do. Look at me." He didn't. "Look at me." His head lifted, and the emptiness in his eyes was worse than hatred. It was nothing, like she'd already been erased. "I'm pregnant with your child," Serafina said. "Doesn't that mean anything?" "Is it mine?" The question landed like a bullet. "What?" "The baby." Roman's voice was flat, clinical. "Are you sure it's mine?" "How can you even—" "Of course it's yours." "Prove it." "I haven't been with anyone else." "So you say." "Roman, a woman desperate enough to betray her family is desperate enough to lie about anything." He finally met her eyes, including paternity. Serafina felt something break inside her chest, something that had been cracking since the night she found the lipstick stain, but had still held on because hope was a stubborn thing. It shattered completely now. "I don't even know who you are anymore," she whispered. "The feeling is mutual." Vittorio cleared his throat. "We're not here to discuss your marriage. We're here to determine whether Serafina Corsetti poses a threat to this organization." "Vela," Serafina corrected. "My name is Vale. I never legally changed it." A flicker of surprise crossed Vittorio's face. "You've been using Corsetti for 3 years. Only if I'm guilty." "The evidence is fake." Serafina stood again. This time the guards didn't move. Every single piece of it is manufactured. And the fact that none of you can see that proves whoever is doing this knows exactly how your minds work. "Enlighten us," Marco said dryly. "You're looking at evidence. You should be looking at motive." Serafina turned to face Roman. "Who benefits from my destruction?" "The Rivera cartel." "No. They benefit from destabilizing your organization, but destroying me specifically? That doesn't help them. If they wanted to hurt you, they'd target someone with actual power." She gestured to Celeste. "Someone like her, for instance." Celeste's expression didn't change. "Are you accusing me?" "I'm pointing out that I'm a convenient scapegoat, the wife who's already losing favor, already isolated, already doubted." Serafina looked at each person at the table. "If someone wanted to frame someone for betrayal, I'm the perfect target." "That's quite a theory," Vittorio said. "Do you have any proof?" "Do you?" "We have recordings. You have recordings of my voice saying things I never said from a phone that could easily be compromised. You have accounts opened with forged documents. You have circumstantial connections that look suspicious but prove nothing." Serafina's voice got stronger. "And instead of investigating who's framing me, you've already decided I'm guilty." Marco's face darkened. "Watch your tone." "Why? What are you going to do? Kill me? You've already decided to do that." "We haven't decided anything," Vittorio said. "Yes, you have. This isn't a tribunal. It's theater. You called me here to make it look legitimate before you—" "Enough." Roman's voice cut through the room like a blade. "You want us to believe you're innocent? Fine. Explain Thursday night." "I went to the pier because you were meeting your contacts. Because I got a message telling me to be there. Because I wanted to see what I was being framed for. And you just happened to show up exactly when and where the shipment was arriving." "Yes." "Convenient timing." "It was a setup," Serafina wanted to scream. "Someone sent me that message knowing I'd go, knowing you'd see me there. It was designed to make me look guilty." "Who sent it?" I don't know. The number was encrypted. Show me. She pulled out her phone, found the message, handed it to Roman. He studied it for a long moment, then passed it to Marco. Could be legitimate, Marco admitted reluctantly. Could also be cover she created herself. I didn't. 3 of my men died that night, Roman said quietly. Carlo. He had 2 kids, Frankie, getting married next month, and Dominic, 23 years old. His voice cracked slightly on the last name. I know, Serafina said. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't bring them back. Neither does blaming the wrong person. Roman stood, walked to the window, stared out at the grounds. Celeste moved to stand beside him, leaned close, whispered something. Whatever she said made Roman's shoulders tighten. He turned back to Serafina. You want me to believe you're innocent? Yes. Then take a polygraph. Everyone went still. Polygraphs weren't reliable. Everyone knew that. But in this world, they carried weight, symbolic weight, the weight of someone willing to be tested. Fine, Serafina said. When? Now. They had a polygraph examiner on site within an hour, an older man who looked like he'd administered thousands of these tests and believed none of them. He set up equipment in a side room, attached sensors to Serafina's fingers, chest, and arm, explained the process in a bored monotone. The tribunal members watched from behind a 2-way mirror. Is your name Serafina Vale? The examiner began. Yes. Are you married to Roman Corsetti? Yes. Have you had any contact with members of the Rivera cartel? No. The examiner glanced at his readings, made a note. Did you open offshore bank accounts to receive payments from Roman Corsetti's enemies? No. Did you provide operational intelligence to anyone outside the Corsetti organization? No. Did you leak the coordinates that resulted in the deaths of 3 Corsetti soldiers? No. Another glance at the readings. Another note. Are you currently pregnant? The question surprised her. Yes. Is Roman Corsetti the father? Yes. Have you been unfaithful to your husband? No. Do you love your husband? Her throat tightened. I don't know anymore. The examiner looked up. I need a yes or no answer. I love the man I married. I don't know if that man still exists. Yes or no? Tears burned behind her eyes. No. The reading spiked. The examiner made another note. They continued for 40 minutes. Question after question, some relevant, some designed to catch her in contradictions. Finally, the examiner removed the censors. We're done. And? I'll provide my analysis to Mr. Corsetti. He left her sitting alone in the room while he went to deliver his verdict. Serafina stared at her hands. They were shaking. She tried to make them stop. Couldn't. The door opened. Roman walked in alone. Well, she asked. You passed. Relief flooded through her. Then, you believe me? The examiner says you're telling the truth, or at least you believe you're telling the truth. That's not the same thing. No. Roman sat down across from her. It's not. So what happens now? Now we have a problem. He ran his hand through his hair. The evidence says you're guilty. The polygraph says you're not. And I can't ignore either one. You can investigate who's actually, but I'm investigating. I've had people working on this for days. He looked exhausted. But while I'm investigating, people are dying, my organization is bleeding, and I need to stop it. By killing me? By making it stop. I'm not the one. I know. His voice dropped. I know you're not. The polygraph confirms it. My gut confirms it. But the evidence is real, Serafina. Someone used your identity, your voice, your phone, and until I know who and how, you're still the most obvious suspect. So you're going to kill me anyway? I'm going to protect you. She blinked. What? Someone is targeting you, successfully, which means they have resources, intelligence, and access I haven't identified yet. Roman leaned forward. Until I find them, you're in danger. From my enemies, from my own people, from whoever is orchestrating this. So what are you suggesting? House arrest. Here at the estate. Full security. No contact with the outside world until this is resolved. That's still prison. It's protection. From everyone except you. Something flickered across his face. I'm not going to hurt you. You already have. Serafina, you humiliated me, replaced me, accused me of betraying you while you were fucking someone else. Her voice shook with rage. You destroyed our marriage, and now you want me to trust you to protect me? I want you to stay alive. Why? So you can keep controlling me? So our child has a mother. The words hung in the air between them. You believe me now? She asked. About the baby? The polygraph says it's mine. That's not what I asked. Roman stood, walked to the door, stopped with his hand on the handle. I don't know what I believe anymore, he said quietly, but I know I'm not going to let anyone kill you, whether you want my protection or not. He left. Serafina sat in the empty room feeling the walls close in. House arrest, security, protection. Just different words for the same cage. They moved her to a guest suite on the 3rd floor. Spacious, well-furnished, bars on the windows disguised as decorative ironwork. A guard was posted outside her door 24 hours a day. She was allowed no phone, no computer, no communication with anyone outside the estate. Meals were brought to her 3 times a day by staff who wouldn't make eye contact. She was a ghost haunting her own life. Days blurred together. She tried to keep track by scratching marks on the inside of a drawer. 5 days. Then 7. Then 10. No one visited except the doctor who came to check on the pregnancy. He confirmed she was healthy. The baby was healthy. Everything was progressing normally, except nothing was normal. On the 14th day, Celeste walked into her room without knocking. We need to talk, Celeste said. Serafina was sitting by the window reading a book she'd found on the shelf. Something about military strategy. She'd read the same page 6 times without absorbing a single word. Get out, she said without looking up. This won't take long. I don't care. Get out of my room. Celeste sat in the chair across from her. Roman asked me to check on you. Roman can go to hell. He's trying to help you. He's trying to control me. There's a difference. Celeste crossed her legs. She looked perfect as always, hair immaculate, makeup flawless. The kind of woman who probably woke up looking elegant. You're making this harder than it needs to be, Celeste said. Am I? How should I be making it? Should I thank you for sleeping with my husband? Send you a gift basket? I'm not your enemy. You're fucking my husband. That makes you my enemy. I'm his partner. Celeste's voice stayed calm, measured. You were his wife. There's a difference. Enlightening. Thank you for the clarification. I understand you're angry. You understand nothing. Serafina finally looked at her. You come into my life, seduce my husband, sit in my chair at family dinners, and now you have the audacity to come to the room where I'm being held prisoner and tell me you're not my enemy? You're not a prisoner. There's a guard outside my door. For your protection. From whom? You. Something flashed in Celeste's eyes, too quick to identify. Then it was gone. I came here to help you, Celeste said. Help me how? By giving you advice, woman to woman. I don't want your advice. You should take it anyway. Celeste leaned forward slightly. Roman is losing patience. The investigation isn't turning up anything concrete. His family wants answers. And every day you sit here being protected instead of punished makes him look weak. That's not my problem. It is if they decide to solve it by eliminating you. Serafina felt ice slide down her spine. Is that a threat? It's reality. The family doesn't believe in prolonged uncertainty. They believe in solutions. Celeste's voice dropped. And you're starting to look like a problem that needs solving. So what do you suggest? Should I confess to crimes I didn't commit? Make it easier for everyone? I suggest you disappear. What? Leave. Quietly. Tonight if possible. Roman will help you, give you money, new identity, a fresh start somewhere far away. And my baby? Take it with you. Raise it somewhere safe. Give it a normal life away from all this. Serafina stared at her. You want me to run? I want you to survive. By abandoning everything? By choosing life over pride. Celeste stood. Roman still cares about you, that's obvious. But his care won't protect you forever. Eventually, the family will demand action. And when that happens, not even Roman will be able to stop what comes next. Why are you telling me this? Because despite what you think, I'm not a monster, and I don't want to see you die. She walked to the door. Celeste, Serafina called out. She turned. Did you do this? Did you frame me? Celeste's expression was unreadable. If I had that kind of power, do you really think I'd waste it on framing you? Then she was gone. Serafina sat alone, feeling like she'd just been threatened and offered mercy in the same breath. And the terrifying part was that she couldn't tell which was real. That night, Serafina heard voices in the hallway, raised voices. She pressed her ear against the door. Can't keep her here indefinitely. I'll keep her as long as necessary. Roman's voice, angry, defensive. The family is getting restless. A different voice, Marco maybe. They want resolution. They'll get it when I find who's responsible. And if you never find them? Silence. Then what? Marco continued. She stays here forever? We feed her and guard her and pretend she's not a liability? She's not. She's a problem, Roman, and problems need solutions. She's my wife. She's a question mark, and question marks get people killed. I'm handling it. Are you? Because from where I'm standing, you're letting emotions cloud your judgment. Again. Careful, Marco. Someone needs to say it. You're so busy trying to protect her that you're ignoring the obvious solution. Which is? Let the family decide. Put it to a vote. Majority rules. No. You don't have a choice. Vittorio's calling a meeting tomorrow. All senior members. They're going to vote on whether she stays or goes. Goes where? Marco didn't answer. He didn't have to. Footsteps faded down the hallway. A door slammed. Serafina backed away from the door, feeling her heart pound. They were going to vote on her execution, and Roman couldn't stop them. She had to run. Tonight. Now. She looked around the room frantically. The windows were barred. The door was guarded. There was no obvious escape route, but there had to be something. She searched the room systematically, checked every drawer, every cabinet, found nothing useful except a letter opener that might work as a weapon. Pathetic, but better than nothing. She waited until 2 a.m. The guard outside her door changed shifts. She heard the brief conversation as one left and another arrived. This was her window. Serafina went to the bathroom, turned on the shower to create noise, then quietly opened the small window above the toilet. Too small for her to fit through, but large enough to throw things. She bundled sheets together, tied them to the radiator, threw the makeshift rope out the window. It reached maybe halfway down. Not far enough. But it might confuse anyone who looked up and saw it. Then she went to the door. Letter opener hidden behind her back. She knocked. I need help, she called out. Something's wrong. The baby... The guard opened the door immediately. What's... She stabbed the letter opener into his thigh. Not deep. Not life-threatening, but deep enough that he shouted and stumbled backward. Serafina ran, down the hallway, toward the stairs. She heard the guard yelling behind her, heard other voices responding. She made it to the second floor before someone grabbed her arm. She spun, swung, connected with something, heard a grunt, kept running, made it to the first floor. The front door was locked. Heavy deadbolts, no key. She ran toward the back of the house. Through the kitchen, past startled staff, found a door, unlocked, threw it open. Cold night air hit her face. She was outside. Free. She ran across the lawn toward the outer wall. Saw the gate ahead. Guards stationed there, but maybe if she moved fast enough. Headlights blazed to life. 2 SUVs roared toward her from different directions, blocking escape. She changed direction, ran toward the gardens, dark, covered, places to hide. Men shouted behind her, dogs barked. They were hunting her like an animal. She made it into the maze of hedges, turned left, then right, then left again. Completely lost. But that was okay, because lost meant hidden. She stopped behind a marble statue to catch her breath. Her lungs burned. The baby was doing gymnastics inside her. She pressed her hand against her stomach. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm so sorry. Flashlight beams swept through the garden. She moved deeper into the maze, kept low, tried to be quiet. A hand grabbed her from behind. She screamed. Stop fighting, Roman's voice. She turned. He was standing in the shadows, alone. No guards. No flashlight. How did you... I know every inch of this estate. He pulled her deeper into the maze, away from the flashlight beams, into a hidden alcove between hedges. What the hell are you doing? Running. From what? From tomorrow. From the vote. From whatever they're planning to... Who told you about the vote? I heard you and Marco. Outside my door. Roman cursed under his breath. You weren't supposed to hear that. But I did. And now I know. They're going to kill me. Not if I stop them. You can't. Even you don't have that much power. His jaw clenched. I'm still the head of this family. Not when the whole family disagrees with you. They could hear the guards getting closer, dogs baying in the distance. We don't have much time, Roman said. If they find you out here, it makes everything worse. I'm not going back to that room. Then where are you going to go? You have no money, no phone, no car. You'll be dead before dawn. Better dead trying to escape than dead waiting for them to decide. Serafina, let me go. She met his eyes. If you ever cared about me at all, just let me go. For a long moment, he didn't respond. Then he pulled out his phone, made a call. Stand down, he said into the phone. I found her. Everything's fine. Yes, I'm sure. She got confused, thought she heard something, wandered outside, false alarm. He hung up. Come on, he said quietly. Where? Somewhere we can talk without everyone listening. He led her through the maze to a section of wall covered in ivy, pulled the vines aside, revealing a small wooden door, some kind of service entrance. They went through, found themselves in a greenhouse. Dark, humid, filled with exotic plants that looked dangerous. Roman closed the door behind them, locked it. This is where my uncle comes when he needs to think, Roman said. No cameras, no listening devices, just plants that cost more than cars. Serafina wrapped her arms around herself. She was shaking, from cold, from fear, from everything. The vote tomorrow, she said. What's going to happen? I don't know. Yes, you do. They'll probably vote to exile you, maybe worse. And you? I'll vote to protect you. One vote won't be enough. No. He looked at her, really looked at her. It won't. So what do we do? We? He sounded almost surprised. There is no we. Not anymore. There's a baby. That makes it we, whether you like it or not. Roman walked to the far side of the greenhouse, stared at some plant with leaves like knives. I've been thinking, he said slowly, about everything. The evidence, the timing, the precision of it all. And you were right. Someone is framing you. Someone who knows our systems, our protocols, our weaknesses. Do you know who? I have suspicions. Who? He turned to face her. If I tell you, I'm putting you in more danger. I'm already in maximum danger. Tell me. Roman seemed to be wrestling with something internal. Finally, he spoke. 3 months ago, Celeste brought me financial records showing several of my captains were skimming money. She had proof, documentation, everything I needed to clean house. And I executed 2 of them based on her evidence, promoted her as a consultant, gave her access to operations she shouldn't have had access to. Serafina's breath caught. You think Celeste is framing me? I think Celeste benefits most from your destruction. With you gone, she becomes the undisputed woman in my life. No competition, no complications. Then why haven't you confronted her? Because I have no proof, just suspicions. And in this world, suspicions get you killed. So what are you going to do? Find proof. Before tomorrow's vote. He moved closer. But I need your help. My help? I'm locked in a room with guards, which makes you the perfect bait. She stared at him. Explain. Celeste came to see you today. What did she say? She told me to run, said you'd help me disappear. Interesting. Why? Because I never said that to her, never even considered it, which means she's testing something. Testing what? Whether you'll run, whether I'll stop you, how far she can push before something breaks. Roman's eyes went cold. She's playing a game, and we're going to play it better. How? By giving her exactly what she wants. Tomorrow during the vote, you're going to escape again. For real this time. I'll have a car waiting, money, everything you need. And then what? Then we see who tries to stop you, who follows, who makes mistakes. He grabbed her shoulders. Celeste thinks she's smarter than everyone, that she's covered every angle. But people like her always have one weakness, which is arrogance. She'll want to watch you run, want to make sure you're really gone. And when she does, she'll expose herself. Serafina wanted to believe him, wanted to trust that he was actually trying to help instead of setting up an even more elaborate trap. But trust was a luxury she couldn't afford. And if you're wrong, she asked, if Celeste isn't behind this, then you get away anyway. Either way, you survive. Until someone else finds me. I'll make sure they don't. How? By making the world think you're dead. The words hung in the greenhouse air like poison. You want to fake my death, Serafina said slowly. I want to give you a chance to disappear completely. New identity, new life, somewhere so far away that no one will ever find you. And the baby? Raise it somewhere safe. Give it everything I can't. A father? Roman flinched. A life without violence. That's more than I can offer. Serafina felt tears burning. You're giving up. I'm letting you go. That's not the same thing. It's the only thing I can do. She turned away, pressed her hand against the glass wall of the greenhouse. Her reflection stared back, broken, exhausted, 7 years younger than she felt. I loved you, she whispered. I know. Do you love me? Silence. Roman, do you love me? It doesn't matter. Yes, it does. No. His voice cracked slightly. It doesn't, because love doesn't change anything, doesn't protect you, doesn't make this world any less brutal, and right now keeping you alive matters more than how I feel. Serafina turned to face him. So that's it? You're going to help me fake my death and disappear forever? And we just never see each other again? That's the deal. What if I don't want that deal? Then you die tomorrow, for real. And so does our child. The baby kicked, hard, like it was protesting the whole conversation. When? Serafina asked. Tomorrow night. After the vote. I'll create a distraction. You run. There will be a car at the north gate, keys in the ignition, drive to the marina. A boat will be waiting, head south along the coast. By dawn, you'll be 300 miles away. By next week, you'll be someone else. And you? I'll deal with whoever is behind this. Then I'll rebuild what they destroyed. Without me, without you. Serafina felt something break inside her, the last piece of hope that somehow, impossibly, they could fix this. That love could survive in a world built on blood. It couldn't. Okay, she said quietly. I'll do it. Roman nodded. We should get you back before someone notices. They returned through the maze. He walked her to her room. The guard was back at his post with a bandage on his leg. He glared at her. Tomorrow, Roman said. When you hear glass breaking, run. Don't look back. Don't hesitate. Just run. What if it's a trap? Then I'm dead too. He touched her face, just briefly. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. For which part? All of it. He left. Serafina went back into her prison that now felt like a grave waiting to close. She sat on the bed with her hands on her stomach, feeling the baby move inside her. Tomorrow, we run, she whispered. Tomorrow, we become someone else. The baby kicked again, like it agreed, or like it was saying goodbye to the father it would never know. The vote was scheduled for 9 p.m. Serafina spent the entire day watching the clock like it was counting down to her execution, which it probably was. She hadn't slept. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Roman's face in the greenhouse, the way he'd touched her cheek like he was already mourning someone dead. Maybe he was. At 8:30, someone knocked on her door. The guard opened it without waiting for permission. Vittorio walked in, alone. Get dressed, he said, something appropriate. For what? Your tribunal. I thought it was a vote. Same thing. His expression was unreadable. You'll be present to hear the decision. That's more courtesy than most people get. Serafina wanted to tell him exactly where he could shove his courtesy. Instead, she stood and walked to the closet, found a black dress that felt like funeral clothes. Appropriate indeed. She changed in the bathroom. When she came out, Vittorio was still waiting by the door. "I knew your father," he said suddenly. Serafina froze. "What?" "Thomas Vale. Good man. Honest lawyer. Made the mistake of representing the wrong client." Her throat tightened. "How do you know that?" "Because I'm the one who had him killed." The world tilted. "You what?" 15 years ago, your father was defending a prosecutor who'd gotten too close to our operations. I needed that case to disappear." Vittorio's voice was matter-of-fact, clinical. "So I made your father disappear instead. Car accident. Very clean. No one suspected." Serafina couldn't breathe. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because you need to understand something. In this world, loyalty means everything. And betrayal?" He stepped closer. "Betrayal gets everyone you love killed. Your father learned that. Now you're learning it too." "I didn't betray anyone?" "Maybe, maybe not. Either way, the lesson stands." He walked to the door, stopped. "For what it's worth," Vittorio said, "I hope you're innocent. You seem like a decent woman, but decent doesn't matter much when empires are at stake." He left. Serafina stood shaking with rage and grief and horror. Her father hadn't died in an accident. He'd been murdered. By the family she'd married into. By the people Roman called uncle. And Roman had never told her. Which meant either he didn't know, or he'd known all along and kept it from her. She didn't know which possibility was worse. The guard appeared at her door. "Time." She followed him down the stairs, through the house, to the same library where this nightmare had started days ago. Weeks ago. She'd lost track. The tribunal was already assembled. Same faces, same arrangement. Except this time there were more people. Captains she recognized. Soldiers standing along the walls. An audience for her execution. Roman sat at his usual spot. Celeste behind him. Her hand on his shoulder like always. Serafina was directed to the same chair facing the table. The defendant's chair. "We're here to vote on the matter of Serafina Vale," Vittorio began. "Evidence has been presented. Testimony heard. A polygraph administered. Each member of this council will now cast their vote on whether Mrs. Vale poses a threat to this organization." "I'm not Mrs. Anything," Serafina said. "I never took his name legally." "Semantics," Vittorio dismissed. "Marco, your vote." Marco didn't hesitate. "Guilty. She's a liability. Remove her." Serafina's stomach dropped. "Lucia." "Guilty. The evidence is overwhelming regardless of polygraph results." "Roberto." "Guilty." "Salvatore." "Guilty." 4 votes, 4 death sentences. "Roman," Vittorio said. "Your vote." Roman looked at Serafina for the first time since she'd entered the room. His expression was carefully blank, giving nothing away. "Not guilty," he said quietly. 1 vote in her favor, against 4 condemning her. "And as head of this family," Vittorio said, "I vote guilty." 5-1. "The council has spoken," Vittorio continued. "Serafina Vale is hereby—" Glass exploded somewhere in the house. Then another window. And another. Shouting erupted. Guards ran toward the sounds. The distraction. Roman had said glass breaking. That was her signal. Serafina stood. "Sit down," Marco ordered. She ran instead, straight toward the door. A guard moved to block her. She ducked under his arm and kept running. Down the hallway, through the chaos. People were shouting about intruders, about attacks. The entire house had descended into confusion. Perfect. She made it to the back door, threw it open. Cold night air, freedom just beyond the wall. She ran across the lawn toward the north gate. Her lungs burned. The baby protested every jarring step. The gate was ahead. She could see a car parked just beyond it. Headlights off, but she could make out the shape. Almost there. 30 yards. 20. 10. A hand grabbed her arm and spun her around. Celeste stood in front of her holding a gun. "Going somewhere?" she asked. Serafina's blood turned to ice. "How did you know about Roman's plan?" Celeste smiled. "Because I'm the one who gave it to him." "What? Did you really think he came up with that escape plan on his own? Roman's good at violence, not subtlety. She gestured with the gun. Start walking, back to the house. No. It wasn't a request. Then shoot me, because I'm not going back. Celeste's smile widened. You think I won't? I've been planning your death for months. What's a few minutes early? Roman will know. Roman will think you died trying to escape. Very tragic, very convenient. She moved closer. He might even mourn you for a while. Then he'll move on. With me. Why? Serafina's voice cracked. Why do you hate me this much? I don't hate you. You're just in my way. Celeste's voice was calm, reasonable, like she was explaining basic math. I've spent 2 years positioning myself in this organization, learning, planning, building alliances, and everything was perfect until Roman started getting soft about you. So you framed me. So I eliminated the competition. Celeste shrugged. The offshore accounts, the recordings, the leaked coordinates, all me. Well, me and some very expensive technology. You killed those soldiers. Collateral damage, necessary to make the frame work. You're insane. I'm ambitious. There's a difference. Celeste gestured again with the gun. Now walk, or I shoot you here and tell everyone you attacked me. Serafina's mind raced. She could run. Celeste might miss, might hit her somewhere non-fatal, or might kill her instantly. And kill the baby. She started walking, back toward the house, back toward the tribunal that had just voted for her death. Good choice, Celeste said from behind her. I actually respect you, you know. You're stronger than I expected. Most women would have broken by now. Is that supposed to be a compliment? It's an observation. They reached the house. Celeste directed her through a side entrance, away from the main chaos, into a quiet hallway. Where are we going? Serafina asked. Somewhere private, where we can stage your suicide properly. No one will believe I killed myself. They will when they find your confession, typed on Roman's computer, admitting everything, apologizing for the betrayal, too much guilt to live with. Celeste's voice took on a mocking tone. Very poetic. They climbed stairs, went down another hallway. Celeste opened a door to what looked like an office. Inside, she ordered. Serafina stepped into the room. Dark wood, expensive furniture, a desk with a computer already on, a document open on the screen. Her confession. Already written. Sit, Celeste said, at the desk. And if I refuse, then I shoot you now and stage it messier. Your choice. Serafina sat. Celeste moved to stand behind her, gun pressed against the back of her head. Put your hands on the keyboard, Celeste said. Why? Fingerprints. Need to make it look like you really typed this. Serafina's hands were shaking. She placed them on the keyboard. Good girl. Now just stay exactly like that while I... The door burst open. Roman stood in the doorway, gun drawn, aimed at Celeste. Step away from her, he said. Celeste didn't move, didn't even look surprised. Took you long enough. I said step away. Or what? You'll shoot me? We both know you won't. Try me. You won't, Celeste repeated calmly. Because if you do, my finger spasms on this trigger, and your wife's brain decorates this very expensive desk. Standoff. Roman's gun didn't waver. I know everything. The accounts, the recordings, the frame. Prove it. I have your laptop, the one you thought you'd hidden. Every file, every communication, every piece of evidence showing exactly what you did. Something flickered in Celeste's expression. Bluffing. Am I? Your contact in the Rivera cartel, Miguel Santos, you've been paying him to feed you intelligence for 18 months. That's how you knew about the shipment. That's how you knew where to send Serafina. Circumstantial. The voice cloning software. You bought it from a dealer in Prague. Left a trail. Not a good one, but enough. Celeste's grip tightened on the gun. Even if that's all true, it doesn't matter. Right now, in this moment, I have a gun to your wife's head, and you're not fast enough to stop me from pulling this trigger. You're right, Roman said. I'm not. Then he shot Celeste. Not in the head, in the shoulder. The gun flew from her hand as she screamed and stumbled backward. Serafina lunged for the fallen weapon, grabbed it, spun around. Celeste was on the floor, clutching her bleeding shoulder, face twisted in rage and pain. You shot me, she gasped. Should have aimed for your head, Roman said coldly. But I need you alive to confess. I'll never. Yes, you will, because the alternative is watching me put a bullet in every person you've ever cared about, starting with your sister in Boston. Celeste went pale. You wouldn't. Try me. Guards flooded into the room. Roman barked orders. They hauled Celeste to her feet. She was still bleeding, still defiant. This doesn't change anything, she spat. The family voted. She's already been condemned. The vote was based on evidence you fabricated, Roman said, which makes it void. Vittorio won't see it that way. Vittorio will see it however I tell him to see it. Celeste laughed, a bitter, broken sound. You really think you're in control? You stopped being in control the moment you let your emotions dictate decisions. That's why you failed. That's why I'll win even from a cell. Get her out of here, Roman ordered. The guards dragged her away. Her blood left a trail across the expensive carpet. Roman turned to Serafina. Are you hurt? She was still holding the gun, hands shaking so badly she could barely keep her grip. Serafina, are you hurt? No, she whispered. I'm fine. The baby? Fine, I think. He crossed the room, took the gun from her hands, set it on the desk. It's over, he said. She wanted to believe him, wanted to collapse into relief and let everything else go. But something was wrong. How did you know, Anne? She asked. What? How did you know where we'd be? This room specifically, this moment. Roman hesitated, just for a second. I was tracking Celeste, had people watching her. That's not an answer. It's the answer you're getting. No. Serafina stepped back. You knew. You knew exactly where she was taking me, which means you knew what she was planning. I suspected. How long? Her voice got louder. How long have you known Celeste was behind this? Does it matter? Yes. 48 hours, maybe more. The confession hit like a slap. 48 hours? You've known for 2 days and you didn't tell me? I needed proof. You needed proof? I was locked in a room thinking I was going to die, and you needed proof? If I'd moved too early, she would have disappeared, destroyed evidence. I had to... You had to what? Use me as bait? Serafina felt rage flooding through her. That's what I was, wasn't it? Bait. You let her think she was winning so she'd get sloppy. It worked. It almost got me killed. But it didn't. Roman grabbed her shoulders. You're alive. She's caught. It's over. No. Serafina shoved him away. It's not over, because I just realized something. Vittorio told me before the vote, he told me he killed my father. Roman's expression went carefully blank. What? 15 years ago, car accident. Except it wasn't an accident. Vittorio had him murdered. Her voice shook. Did you know? Silence. Did you know? Shh! She screamed. Yes. The word destroyed her. You knew, this entire time. 3 years of marriage, and you knew your family killed my father, and you never told me. I couldn't. You couldn't what? Tell me the truth? Warn me? Give me one honest thing? If you'd known, you never would have married me. Exactly. Tears were streaming down her face now. I never would have married the family that murdered my father. That was supposed to be my choice. I was protecting you, Anne. From what? The truth? Reality? You weren't protecting me. You were controlling me, just like everything else in this goddamn family. Roman's jaw clenched. Your father was investigating people who would have killed him anyway. At least Vittorio made it quick. Oh, well, that makes it better. Thank you for that perspective. Serafina, don't. She held up her hand. Don't say my name like we're still married, like we still have something worth saving. We have a child. We have a mistake. The words came out cold, hard. A mistake I'm going to fix by getting as far away from you as possible. You can't leave. Watch me. She walked toward the door. Roman moved to block her path. Get out of my way, Serafina said. No. I'm not asking. Neither am I. His voice dropped. You think you can just walk out of here, walk away from everything, from me? Yes. You're pregnant with my child. That makes you part of this family whether you like it or not. I'll disappear, change my name, raise the baby somewhere you'll never find us. I'll always find you. Then I guess one of us will have to die. The threat hung in the air between them. Roman stared at her, something broken behind his eyes. You don't mean that, don't I? Serafina moved closer. You lied to me, used me. Let your family vote to kill me while you played puppet master, and now you want me to stay? To play happy family? To pretend any of this is salvageable? I love you. The word should have meant something, should have carried weight. Instead, they felt empty. Too late. Too hollow. No, you don't, Serafina said quietly. You love control. You love power. You love the idea of me. But you don't actually love me. Because if you did, you would have chosen me over your empire. I did choose you. Only when it was convenient. Only when it served your purposes. She touched her stomach. This baby deserves better than that. Don't use our child as a weapon. I'm using our child as a reason to leave, a reason to break the cycle, a reason to make sure another generation doesn't grow up thinking love and violence are the same thing. She pushed past him. This time, he didn't stop her. She made it to the door, stopped with her hand on the handle. For what it's worth, she said without turning around, I did love you. Once. Before I knew what you really were. And what am I? A monster who occasionally remembers how to be human. She opened the door, but remembering isn't the same as being. She walked out. Roman didn't follow. Serafina made it downstairs. The chaos had settled. Guards were everywhere, but no one tried to stop her. Maybe Roman had given orders. Maybe they just didn't care. She found her way to the front entrance, the massive doors that had felt like prison gates. Vittorio was waiting there. Going somewhere? He asked. Away from here. Roman know? Roman can go to hell. Vittorio studied her for a long moment. You're tougher than I thought. Most women would have shattered by now. Most women weren't raised by a father you murdered. His expression didn't change. He told you. You told me this afternoon, remember? Ah, yes. Vittorio nodded slowly. That was a test. Of what? Whether you'd break. Most people break when they learn their whole life is built on lies. He smiled slightly. You didn't break. You got angry. That's much more dangerous. Am I supposed to be flattered? You're supposed to be smart. He gestured to the door. You want to leave? Fine. Walk. But understand something first. The world outside these walls isn't safe. Not for you. Not anymore. Because of Celeste? Because of what you know, what you've seen. The operations, the connections, the secrets. Vittorio moved closer. You're a liability. Celeste understood that. She just went about solving it the wrong way. And what's the right way? Keeping you close, under protection, where we can make sure you don't become a problem. That's just prison with better furniture. It's survival, which is more than most people get. Serafina looked at the door, at freedom just beyond it, then back at Vittorio. I'm leaving, she said, and if anyone tries to stop me, I'll scream every secret I know to every federal agent who'll listen. Every operation, every name, everything. That's suicide. Maybe, but I'll take as many of you with me as possible. Vittorio's smile faded. You're bluffing. Try me. They stared at each other. Old predator, young prey who'd learned to bite back. Finally, Vittorio stepped aside. You have 24 hours, he said. After that, we consider you hostile, and we don't leave hostile assets breathing. I'll be gone in 12. She walked out. The night air hit her like a baptism. Cold, clean, free. She had no car, no phone, no money, no plan. Just her life and the life inside her. It would have to be enough. She started walking, away from the estate, away from the empire, away from everything that had almost destroyed her. Behind her, lights blazed from the mansion. Voices carried on the wind. She didn't look back, not even when she heard footsteps running after her. Serafina! Roman's voice. She walked faster. He caught up, grabbed her arm. She spun and shoved him hard enough that he stumbled. Don't touch me, she said. You can't just leave. Watch me. You have nothing. No resources, no protection. I have myself. That's more than I had when I married you. Roman ran his hand through his hair. This is insane. You're pregnant, alone. Every enemy I have will target you the second they realize. Then they'll have to find me first. I can protect you. Your protection almost got me killed. That was Celeste. That was your world. Serafina's voice went cold. Your empire, your rules, your violence, and I'm done being collateral damage. So what's your plan? Walk until you collapse? Hitchhike to freedom? You don't even have shoes that work for running. She looked down. He was right. She was wearing dress shoes, completely impractical. I'll figure it out, she said. You'll die out here. Maybe, but at least it'll be my choice. Roman pulled out his wallet, started counting bills. What are you doing? Serafina asked. Giving you a chance. He held out several $100s. It's not much, but it's enough to get you somewhere safe. Bus ticket, hotel, food. She stared at the money. Pride wanted her to refuse. Survival said, take it. She took it. There's a motel 2 miles south, Roman said. Owner doesn't ask questions. Tell him Marco sent you. He'll give you a room. Why are you helping me? Because you're right. You deserve better than this. His voice cracked slightly. Our child deserves better than this. Then let me go. Really let me go. No tracking, no following, no revenge when I disappear. I can't promise that. Try. Roman looked at her, really looked at her, like he was memorizing her face. 7 days, he finally said. I'll give you 7 days head start. After that, Vittorio's orders stand. You become hostile, and we hunt you like any other threat. 7 days. Starting now. Serafina turned and started walking. One more thing, Roman called after her. She stopped. Didn't turn around. If you have a girl, he said quietly, name her something strong, something that reminds her she's more than the blood she came from. And if it's a boy, then teach him better than I was taught. Serafina didn't respond. She just kept walking, 1 foot in front of the other, away from the kingdom, away from the king, away from everything except the promise of survival. The motel appeared like a mirage 2 miles later, exactly where Roman said it would be. Neon sign flickering, half the letters burned out, the kind of place where people went to disappear. Perfect. She walked into the office. An old man looked up from behind bulletproof glass. Need a room, she said. Cash only. Marco sent me. The old man's expression changed. How long? 1 night. He slid a key under the glass. Room 7, around back. No cameras, no questions. Thank you. Room 7 smelled like cigarettes and regret. The bed sagged in the middle. The TV didn't work, but the door locked and the walls were thick and no one knew she was here. That was enough. Serafina sat on the bed and finally let herself fall apart, sobbing so hard she couldn't breathe, shaking so violently the whole bed rattled. Everything she'd held together for weeks crashed down at once. The betrayal, the fear, the loss, the rage, the grief for a marriage that had been dead long before she'd admitted it. She cried until she had nothing left. Then she slept. And when she woke in the morning light streaming through dirty curtains, she felt different, lighter. Not healed, not whole, but finally, impossibly free. The baby kicked, strong, insistent. It's just us now, Serafina whispered to her stomach. You and me against the world. The baby kicked again, like it agreed. She had 6 days left before Roman's protection ended. 6 days to disappear completely. 6 days to become someone else. Someone who couldn't be found, couldn't be hurt, couldn't be destroyed. Someone who survived. She stood, splashed water on her face, braided her hair, then walked out of room 7 ready to become a ghost. The woman named Serafina Vale died in that motel room. What walked out was something harder, something hungrier, something that would do whatever it took to protect the life growing inside her, even if it meant burning down everything she used to be. 7 years. 7 years of running, 7 years of looking over her shoulder, 7 years of building a life from ashes and lies. Celine Mercer didn't exist before that motel room. The woman who walked out had no past, no family, no connections to a Manhattan penthouse, or a crime empire, or a man named Roman Corsetti. She'd used Roman's money to buy a bus ticket west, then another, then another. zigzagging across the country until even she didn't know where she'd end up. California found her by accident. San Diego first, then Los Angeles. Finally, San Francisco, where the fog was thick enough to hide in, and the city moved too fast to notice one more ghost. She'd given birth alone in a county hospital using fake documents. When the nurse asked about the father, Celine said he was dead. Close enough to true. But the universe apparently had a sense of humor. Because she didn't have one baby, she had two. Twin girls who came out screaming like they were already angry at the world that made them. Vivian arrived first. Dark hair, Roman's eyes, a scowl that could freeze blood. Alessia followed 3 minutes later, lighter hair, Celine's eyes, a smile that promised future trouble. Looking at them was like watching her past and future collide. She'd named them carefully. Nothing that connected to Roman's world. Nothing Italian. Nothing that could be traced. Just two strong names for two daughters who would never know their father murdered people for a living. The first year was survival. Waitressing. Cleaning houses. Any job that paid cash and didn't ask questions. The second year was planning, taking night classes, learning skills that could build something real. By year 3, she'd partnered with Adrian Kessler. He was someone from her old life. Childhood friend from before she'd met Roman, before everything went wrong. He'd tracked her down through channels she still didn't understand, and instead of turning her in, he'd offered help. Adrian had military connections, security expertise, and most importantly, a complete lack of interest in organized crime. Together, they'd built something from nothing. Mercer Kessler Security Solutions started in Adrian's garage with 2 employees and a dream. Now it operated out of a sleek downtown office with 43 employees and clients across 3 states. They specialized in executive protection, corporate security, high-risk extractions, the kind of work that paid well and kept Celine's particular skill set sharp. Because running from Roman Corsetti taught her things no training manual could. How to spot surveillance, how to disappear, how to know when someone was hunting you before they pulled the trigger. She'd turned survival into a business model. And it worked. The twins grew up in a 2-bedroom apartment that became a 3-bedroom condo that became a house in Pacific Heights with a view of the bay. They went to good schools, had normal friends, played soccer, and learned piano, and complained about homework like regular kids. They knew nothing about their father except that he'd been complicated and dangerous and gone. Celine intended to keep it that way forever, until the envelope arrived. It came on a Tuesday. Regular mail, no return address. Postmarked from New York. Inside was a single photograph, Celine standing outside her office building, clear shot, professional quality, taken 3 days ago, and written on the back in handwriting she recognized instantly. I found you. Her blood turned to ice. She burned the photo, checked every security camera, swept her house and office for bugs, found nothing, but the message was clear. Roman knew where she was. The question was what he planned to do about it. She didn't have to wait long to find out. 2 days later, a black sedan pulled up outside the twins' school at pickup time. Celine saw it from her car, saw the tinted windows, the out-of-state plates, the way it sat idling while every other parent was rushing to collect their kids. She was out of her car and running before conscious thought caught up. Vivian and Alicia were walking toward the parking lot, backpacks bouncing. Alessia was laughing about something. Vivian was rolling her eyes. Normal, safe, innocent. The sedan's door opened. A man stepped out. Suit, earpiece, the kind of professional muscle that screamed organized crime. Celine pulled her gun from her concealed holster and aimed it directly at his head. Step away from my daughters, she said loudly enough that everyone in the parking lot turned to stare. The man froze. Hands came up slowly. Easy. I said step away. Mom? Vivian's voice cracked with confusion and fear. Get behind me, now. The twins scrambled behind her. Other parents were backing away. Someone screamed. Someone else was calling 911. I'm not here to hurt anyone, the man said carefully. I have a message. That's all. Deliver it from there. It's from Roman Corsetti. Hearing his name out loud after 7 years felt like being punched in the chest. I don't know anyone by that name, Celine said. He says you do. He says it's time to talk. Tell him I have nothing to say. He's not asking. The man gestured toward the sedan. He's in the car, right now. Wants 5 minutes, that's all. Celine's grip tightened on the gun. He comes near my daughters, and I'll put a bullet through his skull. He understands. That's why he's staying in the car. The man's voice softened slightly. 5 minutes, Mrs. Corsetti, then we leave. You have my word. Your word means nothing. Then how about his? The sedan's back window rolled down, and there he was. Roman Corsetti, 7 years older, same sharp features, same cold eyes, but something had changed. He looked tired, worn down, like 7 years had cost him more than it cost her. Their eyes met across the parking lot. Everything else disappeared. All the rage, all the fear, all the carefully constructed walls she'd built to forget him. Gone. She was 25 again, standing in a penthouse holding a shirt stained with another woman's lipstick. "Mommy, who is that?" Alessia whispered. The question shattered the moment. Celine lowered her gun slightly. "Get in the car, both of you. Lock the doors. Don't open them for anyone except me." "But now." The twins ran to her car. She heard the locks click. Celine walked toward the sedan, gun still drawn, ready to kill if necessary. The bodyguard opened the door for her. She climbed inside. Roman sat in the back seat looking at her like she was something he'd lost and found and couldn't quite believe was real. "Hello, Serafina," he said quietly. "That's not my name anymore." "What should I call you?" "Nothing, because after this conversation you're going to disappear and never come near me or my daughters again." "Our daughters?" The possessive pronoun felt like a knife. "Say that again and I'll shoot you right here," Celine said. "You could. But then you'd never know why I'm here." "I don't care why you're here." "Yes, you do. Otherwise you wouldn't have gotten in the car." Damn him, he was right. "You have 5 minutes," Celine said. "Start talking." Roman gestured to a folder on the seat between them. 3 months ago, someone started targeting my organization. Systematic attacks, precision hits, like they knew every weakness, every vulnerability. Sounds like karma. "It's Celeste." Celine went still. "That's impossible. Celeste was arrested, tried, sentenced. She escaped 6 months ago. I kept it quiet. Didn't want to create panic." Roman opened the folder. Photographs spilled out, crime scenes, bodies, destruction. "She's been building her own organization, using everything she learned from me, and now she's coming for everything I have." "Good for her. She's coming for you too." The words hit like a physical blow. "Why would she?" "Because you're the one who exposed her, the one who survived when you were supposed to die. She hates you even more than she hates me." Roman pulled out another photograph. This one showed Celine's house, her car, the twins' school. "She knows where you live, where they go to school, every place you frequent." "You let her here?" "No. She found you on her own, same way I did. Different methods." He leaned forward. "She's planning something. My intelligence says it's happening soon, and when it does, you and the girls are targets. Then I'll protect them." "Against what? A professional crew with unlimited resources and 7 years of rage driving them?" "You're good, Serafina, but you're not that good. It's Celine, and you don't know what I'm capable of. I know you built a successful company. I know you kept yourself hidden for 7 years. I know you raised 2 daughters alone." His voice softened. "I know you're stronger than you think, but this isn't about strength. It's about numbers. Celeste will send 20 men if that's what it takes, and you can't fight 20 men alone." "So what are you suggesting?" "Protection. I have resources, people, safe houses. I can move you somewhere Celeste will never find you." "Like you found me. I'm better at this than she is." "That's not reassuring." Roman ran his hand through his hair. The gesture was so familiar it hurt. "I'm not asking you to trust me. I'm asking you to let me protect our children. They're not—" "Don't." His voice turned sharp. "Don't tell me they're not mine. I can see it from here. The oldest one has my eyes, my mother's chin, probably my temper." "Vivian." "What?" "Her name is Vivian, and yes, she has your temper. Lucky her." Something almost like a smile crossed Roman's face, then disappeared. "And the other one?" "Alessia." "Can I meet them?" "Absolutely not." "Serafina, you lost the right to meet them when you chose your empire over me, when you let your family vote to kill me, when you—" Her voice cracked. When you destroyed everything we had because you couldn't admit you were wrong. I know. The simple admission shocked her into silence. I know I failed you, Roman continued. Failed them. Failed myself. I've spent 7 years trying to rebuild into someone worthy of a second chance. He met her eyes. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm asking for a chance to keep you alive. Why? What do you get out of this? Peace. The knowledge that the only 3 people I've ever actually loved are safe. You don't love us. I don't know how to love correctly. That's different than not loving at all. Celine stared at him. This broken, haunted version of the man who'd once ruled an empire without mercy. Your 5 minutes are up, she said. Get out of my city. Stay away from my family. And if I see you anywhere near my daughters again, I will end you. Understood? Roman nodded slowly. Understood. She opened the door to leave. One more thing, Roman said. She paused. If you change your mind, if things get bad and you need help, this number will reach me any time, day or night. He held out a card. I'll come. No questions, no conditions, just protection. Celine took the card, didn't look at it, just shoved it in her pocket. Then she got out of the car and walked back to her daughters who were watching through the window with wide, frightened eyes. The sedan drove away, and Celine stood in the parking lot feeling like she'd just survived a car crash. Who was that? Vivienne demanded once they were safely in the car. No one, Celine said. That wasn't no one. You pointed a gun at him. It's complicated. Is he a bad guy? Alessia asked. Yes, very bad, which is why we're never going to see him again. Lies felt easier than truth, but the truth was she didn't know what Roman Corsetti was anymore. Monster, man, father, threat. Maybe all of them, maybe none. She drove home constantly checking the rearview mirror for tails. Found none. But Celeste was a professional. If she was watching, Celine wouldn't see her until it was too late. That night, she couldn't sleep. She sat in the kitchen cleaning her gun and trying to calculate odds. If Celeste really was coming, she'd need more than one pistol and good intentions. She'd need an army, or at least someone who could provide one. She pulled Roman's card from her pocket, stared at the phone number written in neat black ink, then threw it in the trash. Pride wouldn't let her call him. Fear shouldn't make her. But maternal instinct trumped both. If Celeste threatened her daughters, Celine would do whatever it took to protect them, including making deals with devils. The attack came 3 days later. Celine was at the office reviewing security proposals when Adrian burst into her office. We have a problem, he said. How bad? Someone just tried to breach our server. Professional job. High-level encryption. They were looking for client files. Did they get in? No, but they tried 3 times in the last hour. Each attempt more sophisticated than the last. That's a message. That's what I thought. Celine pulled up their security feeds, started scanning, saw nothing unusual. But that meant nothing. If Celeste wanted to hit them, she'd do it when they least expected. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She answered. Hello? Did you enjoy my little test? Celeste's voice, smooth, confident, absolutely remorseless. Celine's blood ran cold. What do you want? What I've always wanted. To finish what I started 7 years ago. I'm not playing games with you. Good. Because this isn't a game. This is an execution. Celeste's voice turned ice cold. I'm going to destroy everything you built. Then I'm going to kill you. But first, I'm going to make you watch while I hurt your daughters. Touch them and what? You'll kill me? Please try. I've been waiting 7 years for you to give me a reason. The line went dead. Celine was already moving, grabbed her keys, her gun, yelled at Adrian to lock down the office. Then she was running for her car. The drive to the twin school took 12 minutes, longest 12 minutes of her life. She called the school. No answer. Called again. Still nothing. Her heart was pounding so hard she could hear it over the engine. She pulled into the school parking lot going way too fast. Tires screamed. Parents scattered. She ran inside. The front office was chaos. Teachers shouting, kids crying, and in the center of it all, the principal looking pale and terrified. Where are they? Celine grabbed the principal's arm. Where are my daughters? We don't know. They never came back from lunch. We've been searching. Celine didn't wait to hear more. She was already running back to her car, dialing Roman's number with shaking hands. He answered on the first ring. Serafina. She took them. Celine's voice was breaking. Celeste took my daughters. I need. Where are you? They're school. They're gone. They're just gone. I'm 20 minutes away. Stay there. Don't move. I'm coming. Roman, if she hurts them, she won't. Not yet. She'll want you to find them. Want you to come so she can make you watch. His voice turned deadly calm. That's her mistake. Because when I find her, I'm going to make her regret every breath she's taken since escaping. Just hurry. I'm already moving. 17 minutes later, 3 black SUVs pulled into the parking lot. Roman stepped out of the first one, followed by 6 men who looked like they ate violence for breakfast. He walked straight to Celine. Tell me everything. She did. Between gasps and tears and rage, she told him everything. She'll have taken them somewhere with meaning, Roman said. Somewhere that connects to the past. Where would she go? I don't know. I don't think like a psychopath. Yes, you do. You married one. He grabbed her shoulders. Think. Where would she take them to hurt you most? Celine closed her eyes, tried to think past the panic. Somewhere with meaning. Somewhere from the past. Then it hit her. The pier, she whispered. Pier 47, where she framed me 7 years ago. That's 2,000 miles away. She's not in New York, she's here. San Francisco has piers too. Celine pulled out her phone, started searching. Pier 47, old warehouse district, abandoned shipping containers. It matches. Roman was already barking orders to his men. Get everything, full tactical, vests, long guns. I want drones in the air and eyes on every approach. This could be a trap, one of his men warned. It's definitely a trap. That's why we're bringing overwhelming force. Roman looked at Celine. You're staying here. Like hell I am. Serafina, those are my daughters. I'm coming. You're not trained for... I've been training for 7 years, for this exact moment. Every skill, every lesson, every nightmare about losing them. She stared him down. I'm coming. You can accept that or waste time arguing. Roman studied her for a long moment, then nodded. Fine, but you follow my lead. No hero moves, no mother rage mistakes. Understood? Understood. Then let's go get our daughters back. The drive to the pier took 23 minutes. Every second felt like drowning. Celine sat in the SUV surrounded by armed men checking weapons and going over tactical plans like this was just another operation. But it wasn't. These were her babies, her whole world, everything she'd built and protected and loved for 7 years. And someone had taken them. Roman sat beside her, silent, focused, but she could feel the rage coming off him in waves. When this is over, he said quietly, Celeste dies. No trial, no mercy, no second chances. Agreed. I'm going to make it hurt. Good. They arrived at the pier just as the sun was setting, orange light bleeding across the water like the sky was wounded. The warehouse loomed ahead. 3 stories of rusted metal and broken windows, a graveyard for ships and dreams. Roman's men spread out, drones launched. Thermal imaging confirmed multiple heat signatures inside the building. How many? Roman asked. 8, maybe 9, all armed. His lead tactical guy pointed to a schematic. 2 near the entrance, 3 on the second floor. Rest are in the main warehouse space with what looks like 2 smaller signatures. The girls, Celine breathed. Probable. Can't confirm until we're closer. Then let's get closer. They moved as a unit. Celine in the middle, surrounded by professionals who'd done this 1,000 times. The entrance was unlocked. Too easy. Definitely a trap. But they had no choice. Inside, the warehouse was massive. Shipping containers stacked like a maze. Shadows everywhere. Perfect ambush territory. Serafina, Celeste's voice echoed from somewhere above them. So glad you could make it. Celine's gun came up automatically. Where are my daughters? Our daughters, Celeste corrected, since I'll be raising them after you're dead. Show yourself. In time. First, let's talk about how this ends. It ends with you bleeding, Celine called back. Such violence. Is that really the example you want to set for Vivian and Alessia? Hearing their names in Celeste's mouth made Celine's blood boil. Last chance, Celine said. Let them go, and maybe we let you walk away. Walk away? Why would I walk away when I'm finally winning? Celeste laughed. 7 years, Serafina. 7 years I've waited for this moment. Do you really think I'm going to waste it? Movement on the second floor. Roman's men saw it too. Weapons tracked the motion. Don't, Celeste warned. My men have orders. First shot fired and the girls die. You want to risk that? Roman grabbed Celine's arm, whispered, She's bluffing. You sure? No, but we don't have a choice. Celeste! Roman's voice boomed through the warehouse. This is between us. Let the children go. Oh, Roman, still trying to play the hero? Celeste appeared on a metal catwalk above them, backlit by dying sunlight. That's what destroyed you the first time. Trying to save everyone. Trying to be something you're not. Let them go. Make me. Then everything happened at once. Gunfire erupted from 3 directions. Roman's men returned fire. Muzzle flashes lit up the darkness like fireworks. Celine dove behind a shipping container, Roman right beside her. We need to find them, she shouted over the noise. My men will handle Celeste's crew. We go for the girls. They moved deeper into the warehouse, using the containers as cover. Gunfire echoed behind them, but they kept moving. Up ahead, a door, light spilling underneath. Roman kicked it open. Inside was a small office, and sitting in the corner on a ratty couch were Vivian and Alicia, hands bound, duct tape over their mouths, but alive. Mom! Vivian's muffled scream. Celine was across the room in seconds, ripping off the tape, untying their hands. Are you hurt? Did they hurt you? We're okay, Alicia sobbed. We're okay. Roman stood in the doorway, providing cover. We need to move. Now. Who are you? Vivian demanded, staring at him. Later, Celine said. Right now, we run. They made it halfway back through the warehouse before Celeste appeared. She dropped from somewhere above, landing between them and the exit, gun raised. Going somewhere? She asked. Roman stepped in front of Celine and the girls. Get behind me. How noble. The monster pretending to be a father. Celeste's smile was vicious. Do they know what you are? What you've done? They know enough. Do they know you kill people? That you've murdered dozens? That their mother ran from you because you destroyed her? Celeste, do they know their whole existence is built on blood and lies? Shut up, Vivian screamed. You don't know anything about us. Celeste's eyes shifted to Vivian. You must be the fighter. I can see Roman in you, that same rage, that same violence just waiting to explode. I said shut up. Vivian, don't, Celine started. But Vivian was already moving, grabbed something from the floor, a piece of metal pipe, swung it at Celeste with everything she had. Celeste dodged easily, laughed. See? Violence, just like Daddy. Roman fired. The bullet caught Celeste in the shoulder. She stumbled backward, dropped her gun. Run! Roman shouted. They ran. Behind them, more gunfire, Celeste screaming orders, men converging. They made it outside just as police sirens erupted in the distance. Someone had called the cops. Roman's men were falling back. One was down, 2 more wounded, but they'd held the line long enough. Move! Roman was herding them toward the SUVs. They piled inside. Tires screamed. The vehicle lurched forward. Behind them, the warehouse erupted in flames. Someone had lit something. Fire climbed the building like it was alive. And standing in front of the inferno, silhouetted against the flames, was Celeste, bleeding, broken, but somehow still standing, still watching them escape, still promising this wasn't over. Is she going to die in the fire? Alicia asked quietly. No, Roman said. Women like her don't die that easily. Then what do we do? Roman looked at Celine, then at his daughters, then back at the burning warehouse. We finish this, he said, once and for all. The safe house was 40 miles outside the city, some kind of converted farmhouse that Roman's people maintained for situations exactly like this. High walls, reinforced doors, enough weapons in the basement to start a small war. Celine sat in the kitchen watching her daughters sleep on the couch in the next room. They'd finally crashed an hour ago after crying themselves into exhaustion. Vivian's arm was draped protectively over Alessia, even in sleep. Roman stood by the window. He hadn't moved in 20 minutes, just stared out at the darkness like he could see threats forming in the shadows. "She's still out there," Celine said quietly. "I know." "The fire didn't stop her. Your men didn't stop her. What makes you think anything will?" "Because next time I won't just wound her." Roman turned to face her. "Next time I'll put a bullet through her skull and make sure she stays down." "That's not a plan. That's revenge. Sometimes they're the same thing." Celine wrapped her hands around a coffee mug that had gone cold an hour ago. "The girls asked about you. In the car. Before they fell asleep." "What did you tell them?" "The truth. That you're their father, that you're dangerous, and that I don't know if letting them meet you is the biggest mistake I've ever made." Roman flinched slightly. "Fair assessment. Vivian wants to know why you weren't around. Alessia wants to know if you're going to leave again." Celine met his eyes. "I don't have answers for them." "What do you want me to say?" "I want you to tell me what happens now, after Celeste, after all of this. Do you disappear back to New York? Do we go back to pretending you don't exist? Is that what you want?" "I asked you first." Roman crossed the kitchen, sat down across from her. Up close, she could see the exhaustion carved into his face. 7 years had aged him more than it should have. "I want to be their father," he said quietly. "Not the monster who destroyed their mother. Not the ghost who sends money and watches from a distance. Their actual father. If you'll let me." "That's not something I can just let you do. That's something you have to earn." "I know." "Do you?" "Because earning it means changing. Really changing. Not just saying the right words when it's convenient." "I've been changing for 7 years." Roman's voice had an edge to it. "You think I'm the same man who let his family vote to kill you? Who believed lies over his own wife? I'm not. That version of me died the night you walked out." "Then who are you now?" "I don't know yet. Someone trying to be better, failing most of the time, but still trying." Celine wanted to believe him. Wanted to believe people could change fundamentally instead of just rearranging their worst qualities. But belief was expensive when your daughters were sleeping in the next room because a psychopath wanted them dead. "Celeste knows where we are," she said. "She always knows. That's her gift." "Then we move again." "And then what? Move again after that? Keep running forever?" "Until she's dead, yes. That's not a life, that's existence. And I won't do that to my daughters." "Our daughters." "Stop saying that like it gives you ownership." Celine's voice sharpened. "You have contributed DNA and protection. That doesn't make you their father. Being there makes you their father. Teaching them. Holding them when they're scared. Showing up every single day, even when it's hard. Have you done any of that?" "I'm trying to start. 7 years late. Better late than never." "That's not how parenting works." They stared at each other across the kitchen table. All the history between them. All the damage. All the might-have-beens that would never happen. Celine's phone buzzed. Text from Adrian. "News, call me." She dialed. He answered immediately. "Police found Celeste's body in the warehouse ruins," Adrian said without preamble. Celine's breath caught. "What?" "Burned beyond recognition. Dental records confirmed identity. She's dead." "Are you sure?" "As sure as the coroner's office can be. She was found near the structural collapse. Probably died from smoke inhalation before the fire consumed the body." Celine looked at Roman. "Celeste is dead. They found her body." Something shifted in Roman's expression. Not relief, suspicion. "Where exactly was the body found?" he asked loudly enough for Adrian to hear through the phone. "Near the east wall," Adrian said. "Why?" "That's nowhere near where I shot her. Maybe she tried to escape and got trapped. Or maybe it's not her body." Silence on the phone. Then Adrian's voice dropped. "You think she faked her death? I think Celeste has been planning this for months, maybe years. And I think burning bodies to fake death is exactly the kind of thing she'd do." "You're paranoid," Celine said, but doubt was already creeping in. "I'm careful. There's the difference." Roman stood, started pacing. "Dental records can be falsified. Bodies can be planted. She knew we'd check. Knew we'd need confirmation. So she gave us exactly what we'd be looking for. If you're right, then where is she?" "Close. Watching. waiting for us to let our guard down. As if summoned by the words, the lights went out. Complete darkness. Not just in the house. The entire property. Generator should have kicked in, Roman said quietly. It didn't. Celine was already moving, grabbed her gun from the table, moved toward the living room where her daughters slept. Roman's men materialized from other parts of the house, weapons drawn, night vision goggles deployed. North perimeter breach, one of them reported. Multiple hostiles coming fast. How many? At least 12, maybe more. Roman cursed. Get the girls, we're leaving, now. Celine shook Vivian and Alessia awake. We have to go. No questions, just move. The twins were groggy but obedient, years of their mother's security drills kicking in automatically. They made it to the garage, Roman's backup vehicle, armored SUV built like a tank. Get in, Roman ordered. Gunfire erupted outside. Windows shattered. Men shouted. Roman's team returned fire. Buying them seconds, maybe minutes if they were lucky. The SUV roared to life. Roman behind the wheel. Celine in the passenger seat, girls in the back. They burst through the garage door and onto the gravel driveway. Ahead of them, a line of vehicles blocked the exit, men with automatic weapons. Hold on, Roman said. He didn't slow down, didn't brake, just aimed the SUV directly at the blockade and floored it. Impact threw everyone forward against their seatbelts. The armored vehicle punched through like the other cars were made of cardboard. Bullets pinged off the reinforced body. The back window cracked but held. Then they were through, racing down the dark country road with headlights off. Behind them, vehicles gave chase. They're following, Celine said. I know. Roman took a hard right onto a side road, then another. The SUV wasn't built for speed, but it was built to survive. Every turn felt like they might flip. Every bump threatened to tear the vehicle apart, but it held together. The chase vehicles fell back slightly. Roman's driving was too aggressive, too reckless. They couldn't keep up without risking crashes. There, Alicia pointed ahead, a helicopter, landing in a field beside the road. Roman's extraction. He skidded to a stop. Out! Now! They ran for the helicopter. Bullets kicked up dirt around their feet. The helicopter's door gunner returned fire, covering their approach. They dove inside. The helicopter lifted immediately, rising fast into the night sky. Below, the chase vehicles screeched to a stop. Men poured out, raised weapons, fired uselessly at a target already out of range. Roman pulled on a headset, started barking coordinates to the pilot. Celine held her daughters close. Both were shaking, both were crying quietly, but both were alive. Where are we going? Vivian asked. Somewhere safe, Celine said, hoping it was true. The helicopter flew for 2 hours, finally descended toward a private airfield where a plane waited, engines already running. Mexico, Roman said as they transferred aircraft. I have a compound there, remote, defensible. Celeste won't find it. You said she wouldn't find the safe house, Celine pointed out. I was wrong. Won't be wrong again. They boarded the plane, took off within minutes, racing south toward a border that might as well have been another planet. Alessia fell asleep almost immediately, exhaustion claiming her. But Vivian stayed awake, staring at Roman with those dark eyes that were absolutely his eyes. Are you really our father? She asked. Roman looked at Celine, some question in his expression. She nodded slightly. Permission. Yes, he said to Vivian. I am. Why weren't you around? Because I made mistakes, hurt your mother, became someone dangerous, and she protected you from me. Are you still dangerous? Yes. Good. Vivian's voice was fierce. Because the people trying to kill us are dangerous too, and we need someone who can fight them. Roman smiled slightly. You're definitely my daughter. Mom says I get my temper from you. That's probably true. She also says you're the reason we've been running our whole lives. The accusation hit harder than bullets. Roman's smile faded. That's also true. So when does the running stop? When I kill the woman trying to hurt you. Celeste. You know her name? I heard everything. At the warehouse. She said a lot of stuff about you. About Mom. About blood and lies and violence. Vivian leaned forward. Was she telling the truth? Some of it. Which parts? The parts about me being violent, about your mother running because I destroyed her, about your existence being built on things I'm not proud of. And the other parts? The parts about me not loving you? Those were lies. Roman's voice went quiet. I've loved you since before you were born. I just didn't know how to show it without destroying you in the process. Vivian studied him for a long moment, then nodded slowly. Okay. Okay? You're honest. That's more than most adults give kids. She sat back. I don't forgive you yet, but I don't hate you either. That's a start. That's more than I deserve. Probably. Vivian closed her eyes. Wake me up when we're somewhere that isn't trying to kill us. Within minutes, she was asleep beside her sister. Roman looked at Celine. She's terrifying. She's 7, and yes, Alessia seems softer. Alessia is a strategist. She watches, plans, waits for the perfect moment to strike. Vivian is the storm. Alessia is the sniper. We made interesting children. We made survivors. The plane flew through the night, crossing borders, leaving chaos behind, heading toward temporary safety that might last days or hours or might not last at all. Celine couldn't sleep, kept replaying everything, the warehouse, the chase, Celeste's body that might not be Celeste's body. You really think she's still alive, she said to Roman. I think assuming she's dead is how we end up dead. So what's the plan? Get to Mexico, fortify, then hunt her down properly. No more reactive defense, time to go on offense. With 2 7-year-olds in tow? With 2 7-year-olds protected by every resource I have. Roman turned to face her. I'm not letting Celeste take anything else from us. Not our safety. Not our children. Not our lives. She's had 7 years. That ends now. Big words. Backed by bigger guns. The plane landed as dawn broke over the Mexican coast. The compound was built into a hillside overlooking the ocean. Concrete and steel disguised as a luxury villa. Beautiful from a distance. Fortress up close. Guards everywhere. High walls. Surveillance systems that could probably track a fly. Welcome home, Roman said. This isn't home, Celine replied. This is a bunker. Same thing in my world. They settled into a routine over the next 3 days. Roman's men patrolled constantly. The twins explored their new temporary prison with cautious curiosity. Celine planned exit strategies in case this safe house fell like the last one. And every night, Roman and Celine sat on the terrace overlooking the ocean and tried to figure out what happened next. Celeste will come eventually, Celine said on the 3rd night. She always does. I know. So we're just waiting, playing defense until she makes a move? I have people searching, every contact, every resource. Someone knows where she is. And if they don't, then we make ourselves bait, deliberately, control the trap instead of walking into hers. Using our daughters as bait is not an option. Using ourselves is. Celine looked at him. You'd sacrifice yourself? To end this? Without hesitation. Why? 7 years ago, you would have sacrificed me to protect your empire. What changed? Roman was quiet for a long time. Waves crashed below them. Nightbirds called. The world kept turning despite their conversation. I lost you once, he finally said. Spent 7 years living with that loss. Living with knowing I'd destroyed the only good thing I'd ever had. You think I'm going to make that mistake again? People don't change fundamentally. No. But they learn. They adapt. They realize some things are worth more than power. He looked at her. You're worth more. The girls are worth more. And if I have to die to prove that, then that's what I'll do. That's not proving anything. That's just suicide with good intentions. Then what would you have me do? I want you to live, Celine said. I want you to be the father they deserve instead of the martyr they'll resent. I want you to figure out how to exist without violence, without empire, without all the things that made you who you were. And if I can't, then I take the girls and disappear. For real this time. Somewhere you'll never find us. You already did that once. I found you anyway. Only because I wanted to build something. Next time I'll just survive. And surviving is harder to track than thriving. Roman smiled sadly. You've gotten harder. I learned from the best. Movement from inside the house. One of Roman's men appeared. Sir, We have a problem. Roman was on his feet instantly. What kind? Communication. From Celeste. She wants to talk. How? Anonymous email, encrypted. But we verified the origin point. It's legitimate. What does she want? To negotiate. Roman and Celine exchanged looks. It's a trap, Celine said. Obviously. So we ignore it. Or we use it. Roman turned to his man. Set up the communication. I want to hear what she has to say. 10 minutes later, they were in Roman's office. Computer screen showing a blank video call. Text at the bottom reading, "Accept?" Roman clicked yes. Celeste's face appeared. She looked terrible. Burns covered half her face. One eye was swollen shut. Her hair had been singed down to uneven patches. But she was alive and smiling. Hello, Roman. Hello, Serafina. Or should I say, Celine now? What do you want? Roman asked. To finish our business. This has gone on long enough. Agreed. Tell me where you are, and I'll end it quickly. How merciful. But I have a better idea. Celeste leaned closer to the camera. One final meeting, you, me, and Serafina. No weapons, no backup. Just the three of us finishing what we started 7 years ago. And why would we agree to that? Because if you don't, I'll kill everyone you've ever cared about. Not today, not tomorrow, but eventually. And you'll never know when or where or how until they're dead and you're left living with that failure. Empty threats. Are they? I faked my death, tracked you to Mexico, found this compound even though you thought it was secret. Celeste's smile widened. I'm inside your security, Roman, inside your operations, inside your head. The only way to end this is to end me, face to face. Where? Celine asked. Ambitious little widow. I like the initiative. Celeste's ruined face turned toward the camera. Do you remember where we first met? The charity gala? 3 years before everything fell apart. That hotel. That ballroom. Where you wore the blue dress and Roman couldn't stop staring at me. I remember. Good. Because that's where this ends. Tomorrow night. 8 p.m. Just the three of us. Winner takes everything. Loser dies. If we don't come? Roman asked. Then I start killing. Your men first. Then your business partners. Then everyone in your organization until you have nothing left except grief. Celeste's voice dropped. But if you do come, at least you have a chance. And isn't that better than waiting for the knife you know is coming? The screen went black. Roman stared at it for a long moment. It's a trap. Obviously. She'll have men there, weapons, every advantage. Obviously. We'd be walking into an execution. Yes. So we don't go. We have to go, Celine said quietly. What? She's right. This doesn't end until she's dead. We can keep running, keep hiding, keep looking over our shoulders, or we can end it tomorrow night. By walking into her trap? By springing our own. Celine turned to face him. She thinks she's smarter, thinks she's planned for everything, but she's made one mistake. Which is? She underestimated how far a mother will go to protect her children. Celine's voice turned cold. We'll go to that meeting. We'll walk into her trap, and then we'll kill her. Whatever it takes. Roman studied her. You've changed. 7 years running from monsters will do that. You've become one. If that's what it takes. She didn't flinch from the assessment. Are you with me or not? Roman was quiet for a long moment, then nodded. I'm with you, always. Then let's finish this. They spent the next 24 hours planning. Roman's men provided intelligence, blueprints of the hotel, security layouts, escape routes, every detail they could gather. But it wouldn't be enough. They both knew that. Celeste had been planning this for years. One day of preparation wouldn't match her head start, so they focused on the only advantage they had: desperation. The night of the meeting arrived too fast. Celine said goodbye to her daughters, knowing it might be the last time. Where are you going? Vivian asked. To end this. You're going to fight her, the woman from the warehouse. Yes. Are you going to die? Celine knelt down to eye level. I'm going to try very hard not to. That's not a promise. No, it's not. Because I won't lie to you. This is dangerous, really dangerous, and I might not come back. Vivian's jaw clenched. Then don't go. I have to. Because if I don't, she'll keep coming, Forever. And I won't spend the rest of your lives running. So you'd rather die? I'd rather end this so you can live normally. School, friends, a childhood that isn't constantly looking over your shoulder. I'd rather have a mom. The words broke something in Celine's chest. I know, baby. I know. Alessia had been quiet through the whole exchange, but now she spoke up. You're going to win. How do you know? Because you're scarier than she is. You're just sneaky about it. Celine laughed despite everything. Sneaky, scary. I'll take it. She hugged them both, held on longer than necessary, memorized the feeling of their arms around her. Then she let go. Roman was waiting by the car. He looked like he had 7 years ago, tailored suit, cold eyes. The kind of man who walked into danger like it was just another Tuesday. Ready? He asked. No, but let's go anyway. The drive to the city took 2 hours. They didn't talk much. What was there to say that hadn't already been said? The hotel loomed ahead, glittering, expensive, the kind of place where the wealthy went to pretend they were better than everyone else. They walked through the front entrance, no weapons, no backup, just 2 people walking toward almost certain death. The ballroom was on the 3rd floor, doors open, lights dimmed, music playing softly from somewhere. And standing in the center of the empty room was Celeste. She'd cleaned up since the video call, dressed in a dark suit that matched Roman's, burns covered but visible. Half her face would be scarred forever. You came, she said. I'm honestly surprised. Let's skip the speeches, Roman said. You wanted us here. We're here. Now what? Now we settle this, properly. No more running, no more hiding, just us. Fine, draw your weapon. I don't have one. Bullshit. Search me if you don't believe me. Roman moved forward cautiously, patted her down, found nothing. Where are your men? Celine asked. Gone. I sent them away. Why? Because this was always personal, and personal business doesn't need witnesses. Celeste spread her arms. It's just us. 3 people who destroyed each other. Time to see who's left standing. So what? We fight? Kill each other with our bare hands, if necessary. Celeste's smile was sharp. Or we could talk. Really talk. About what happened, about why, about whether any of this was worth it. It wasn't, Celine said. No, it wasn't. But here we are anyway. Celeste walked to the windows overlooking the city. I spent 7 years plotting revenge, 7 years planning every detail. And you know what I realized? What? That revenge is empty, that it doesn't actually fix anything, that even if I kill you both right now, I'm still going to wake up tomorrow with nothing. So why bring us here? Because I wanted to look you in the eye and admit something. Celeste turned. I was wrong. The words hung in the air like an impossibility. Wrong about what? Roman asked carefully. Everything, framing Serafina, killing those soldiers, destroying your marriage, all of it. I told myself I was ambitious, that I was just removing obstacles. But the truth is, I was jealous. Jealous? Of what you had. Real connection, real love. Even though it was broken and toxic and destroying you both, it was real. And I'd never had that. Never even come close. Celeste's voice cracked. So I decided if I couldn't have it, neither should you. That's insane, Celine said. Yes, it is. That's my point. Celeste laughed bitterly. I'm insane, damaged, broken beyond repair. And instead of getting help, I turned my damage into a weapon and hurt everyone around me. So what now? You apologize and we all go home? No. Now I pay for what I've done. Celeste pulled out a gun. Roman moved instantly, but Celeste wasn't aiming at them. She was aiming at herself. Don't, Roman said. Why not? What's left for me? Prison? Exile? Spending the rest of my life running like Serafina did? Celeste shook her head. I'm tired of running, tired of fighting, tired of being this version of myself. Then change, Celine said. Like Roman changed, like I changed. Stop being the monster and become something else. It's too late for that. It's never too late. It is when you've done what I've done, when you've hurt people the way I've hurt people. Celeste's hand steadied on the gun. Some things can't be forgiven. Some people can't be redeemed. and I'm one of them. Celeste, tell your daughters I'm sorry, that I was sick, that I never meant for any of this to touch them. Don't do this, Roman said. It's already done. She pulled the trigger. The sound echoed through the empty ballroom like a thunderclap. Celeste dropped. Roman ran to her, checked for a pulse. Found none. She's dead, he said quietly. Celine stood frozen. Part of her felt relief. Part felt horror. Part felt nothing at all because the emotional budget had run out days ago. Is it over? She finally asked. I think so. You think? She had no backup, no plan beyond this. She wanted to end it, and she did. By killing herself. Better than forcing us to do it. Celine walked to the window, looked out at the city glittering below. Millions of people living normal lives, going to work, raising families, existing without violence or death or monsters hiding in every shadow. She wanted that life, wanted it desperately. We need to call the police, she said. And tell them what? That she confessed and killed herself? They'll ask questions we can't answer. Then what? We leave. My men will clean this up. Make it look like she died somewhere else. No connection to us. That's not justice. No, it's survival. And right now that's worth more. Celine wanted to argue, wanted to insist on doing things the right way, but the right way got people killed, and she'd had enough of death. Okay, she said. Let's go home. Where's home? She looked at him. I don't know anymore. They left the hotel through a back entrance, drove in silence back toward the Mexican compound where 2 7-year-olds waited for news. What do we tell them? Roman asked. The truth. That it's over. That we're safe. That we can finally stop running. And after that? I don't know yet. Do you want me to leave? To go back to New York and let you rebuild your life without me in it? Celine considered the question. 7 years ago, the answer would have been an automatic yes. But 7 years changes people. I want you to prove you can be different, she said finally. I want you to show the girls that people can change, that they're not doomed to repeat their parents' mistakes. And if I can't, then I'll take them somewhere you'll never find us. For real this time, forever. Fair enough. They arrived back at the compound just before dawn. The girls were awake despite the early hour, probably hadn't slept at all. Celine walked in and both of them ran to her, nearly knocked her over with the force of their hugs. You're alive, Vivian said. I'm alive. And her, the bad lady, dead. She won't hurt us anymore. Did you kill her? She killed herself. Vivian processed that information, then nodded. Good. I'm glad she's gone. Me too. Alessia looked past Celine to where Roman stood in the doorway. Are you staying? Do you want me to? Roman asked. Mom says you're our dad, that you've been gone because you were dangerous. Alessia's voice was matter of fact, clinical. Are you still dangerous? Probably. I'm trying not to be. Trying isn't the same as succeeding. No, it's not. But it's a start. Alessia walked over to him, looked up at his face with those eyes that were absolutely Celine's eyes. You can stay, for now. But if you hurt Mom again, Vivian and I will hurt you back. Understood? Roman smiled slightly. Understood. Good. I'm going back to bed. Being kidnapped is exhausting. She walked away, leaving Roman standing there looking absolutely terrified of a 7-year-old. She's serious, Vivian said. We've been planning revenge strategies in case you turned out to be awful. Want to hear them? Maybe later. Your loss. They're pretty creative. Vivian followed her sister toward their room. Oh, and Mom, next time someone tries to kill us, can we stay home? Running is boring. Then she was gone too. Celine and Roman stood in the living room of a compound in Mexico, surrounded by evidence of the violence they'd barely survived. That went well, Roman said. That went terrifying. Same thing with those two. Celine laughed, actually laughed, for the first time in what felt like years. What happens now, she asked. Now we figure out what normal looks like. Do you even know what normal is? No, but I'm willing to learn. Roman moved closer. If you'll teach me. Celine looked at him. This man who'd destroyed her, who'd rebuilt himself into something maybe less monstrous, who was standing in front of her offering a second chance she wasn't sure either of them deserved. I'm not promising anything, she said. I'm not asking for promises. Just possibilities. Possibilities are expensive. I can afford it. She smiled despite herself. We'll see. For now, let's just focus on keeping the girls alive and relatively normal. That seems like a low bar. You'd be surprised how hard it is to clear. They stood in comfortable silence as dawn broke over the ocean. The world kept turning, the sun kept rising, and somewhere in all the wreckage of their past, maybe there was a future worth building. Not perfect, not healed, but possible. And possible was enough for now. 3 months later, they were back in San Francisco. Not hiding, not running, just living. Celine reopened her security firm. Adrian had kept it running while she was gone. The business had thrived in her absence, which was both flattering and slightly insulting. Roman dismantled most of his East Coast operations. Not all of them. Some things couldn't be walked away from completely. But he'd reduced his footprint, cleaned up the worst operations, tried to build something less drenched in blood. The girls adjusted surprisingly well. They started at a new school, made new friends, joined soccer teams and drama clubs, and complained about homework like regular kids. Every other weekend, Roman flew out to visit. He took them to museums, taught Vivian how to play chess and lose gracefully, showed Alicia basic self-defense moves that probably violated multiple parenting books. He and Celine didn't live together, didn't even date technically. They just existed in the same orbit, co-parenting, building trust slowly, learning who they were now instead of who they'd been 7 years ago. Some nights, after the girls were asleep, they'd sit on Celine's back porch and talk about the past, about the future, about whether second chances were real or just pretty lies people told themselves. "Do you think we made the right choice?" Roman asked one night. "Staying? Trying again?" "I think we made the only choice we could live with," Celine said. "Whether it's right remains to be seen." Fair answer. "Do you regret it? Any of it? All of it? And none of it?" Roman looked at her. "I regret how we started, how we fell apart, all the pain and violence, but I don't regret where we ended up. 2 daughters who are going to change the world, a chance to be something better than I was. That's worth the cost. Even if the cost was almost everything, especially then." They sat in comfortable silence, watching stars appear in the darkening sky. "Vivian asked about you yesterday," Celine said. "Asked if you were a good man or a bad man." "What did you tell her?" "That you're both, that people aren't simple, that you've done terrible things but you're trying to do better, that she gets to decide for herself whether that's enough." "And what did she decide?" "She said you're interesting," which from her is basically a compliment. "I'll take it." Inside the house, laughter erupted. The twins were watching something on TV, fighting over the remote, being normal, chaotic children. "They're going to be okay," Roman said. "I know. We did that. Despite everything, we gave them a chance at normal. We gave them a chance at survival. Normal is what they make of it. Still better than what we had. Much better." Roman stood to leave. He had a flight back to New York in a few hours. Business that couldn't wait. Responsibilities that came with the empire he was trying to dismantle. But before he left, he stopped. Looked back at Celine. "Thank you," he said. "For what?" "For not giving up. On yourself. On them. On the possibility that broken things can be fixed if you're willing to do the work." "We're not fixed," Celine said. "We're just less broken. There's a difference." "It's a start." "Yes, it is." He left. Celine sat alone on the porch, watching the city lights flicker like stars that had fallen to earth and learned to survive. 7 years ago, she'd been a woman trapped in a nightmare of her own making, married to a monster, pregnant with children who would inherit a legacy of violence. Now she was something else. Not healed, not whole, but free. Free to build, free to choose, free to raise daughters who would never have to run the way she had. That was enough. That would always be enough. Inside, Vivian called out, "Mom, Alessia says I can't have the last cookie, but I was promised the last cookie, and she's a liar. Am not. R2. "Girls," Celine called back, "split it, or neither of you gets it." Grumbling, negotiation, eventually compromise. Normal family chaos, beautiful chaos, the kind worth surviving hell for. Celine smiled, stood, walked inside to her daughters and their cookie crisis and their laughter that filled the house like light. This was what winning looked like. Not perfect, not painless, but real. And real was worth everything.